Are we up then after this, or?
Good afternoon and welcome inside the Fargo Dome. It is homecoming as North Dakota State, number 2 in the country, gets set to take on number 10 Northern Iowa in a clash of Missouri Valley Conference heavyweights. Hello everyone, Brian Shaw and Lee Timmerman with you. Beth Hool on the sidelines for what promises to be a violent football game today here in Fargo.
Well, history between these two teams, no doubt. They both get at it. They're both physical. That's why it's fun to watch. And in the terms of the rivalry with these two teams, since they've been Division I, UNI's been able to do something that a lot of teams haven't. That's beat the Bison. They've done it.
And beat them soundly 23-3 in Cedar Falls a year ago. North Dakota State really could not do much offensively in that game. And of course, David Johnson, who is now playing for the Arizona Cardinals, had a tremendous day on the ground, running for 123 yards in that matchup.
If we're going to mention David Johnson, we have to mention Xavier Williams right off the top, who's also playing for the Arizona Cardinals. He was outstanding at nose for the Panthers last year.
Here's the national anthem. We'll pause for a moment here. Do you want to put us on camera after this? They're loud, they're proud, they're ready to get things going here at the Fargo Dome today. A sold-out crowd of nearly 19,000 now greeting the visitors with a few boos as Northern Iowa takes the field. And again, LT, we've seen some classic matchups between these two teams over the years. And I know you talk about rivalries, and that term is thrown around a lot. Certainly South Dakota State falls into that category. But there's something different when these two teams go at the field, because there's some connections between the coaching staffs, and certainly there's who wants to be the top dog in this league. It kind of starts with these two teams.
And it will start back when NDSU came into the league. Mark Farley was a pretty vocal opponent of letting NDSU come in. And NDSU since then has kind of taken over what the Panthers had. They were the top dog in the conference. They had the conference championships. They made the deep runs into the playoffs. Well, the Bison, they took all that and then some. They've won national championships. That's one thing NDSU has that the Panthers certainly want.
North Dakota State, in the last 3 weeks in particular that they've played, unbelievable the way they've been able to start the game and just jump out to these quick leads. It's really started on defense. They've only given up a handful of first downs in the last 3 games, LT, and right now lead the country, giving up only 19% on third down. Amazing.
There are some crazy stats when you talk about the Bison, but in the last 9 quarters, NDSU has held its opponents to minus 8 yards rushing. That's crazy.
Beth Hool on the sidelines with us today has a report. Beth?
Hey guys, that's right. The Bison defense is going to meet probably their biggest challenge yet this season in the terms of a mobile quarterback. LT, you just said it. These numbers that the Bison defense is putting up in their rush protection are video game-like. But where they aren't is in the terms of their forcing turnovers against their opponents. It's going to be a necessity in this game. They're going to have to force UNI into that passing game because they love to run. They're just like the Bison. They love to take it down and pound the rock throughout the game. They're going to force UNI into passing this ball, passing in this game, and they're going to have to be aggressive and play smart in their protection in the backfield.
All right, thank you very much, Beth. And You know, we talked about the defense and how that's going to match up against Northern Iowa offensively. What Carson Wentz is doing, we talk about it so much. And you talk to Randy Hedberg, the quarterback's coach. Yeah. They can't find a whole lot right now to nitpick on what he's doing.
I just flat asked Randy, I said, is there anything that Wentz is not doing? And after a fairly lengthy pause, he goes, no, he's really good. When a coach can't find something, you know that player is performing at the top of his game.
You know, it's amazing the players that Northern Iowa had and no longer have. Now, their top 3 receivers are gone from a year ago. When you look at Chad Owens, when you look at Brett LeMaster, Kevin Vereen was a great player. Certainly David Johnson was a threat out of the backfield. And now they got a new cast of characters. They're trying to figure out how these pieces all fit, even with a dual quarterback system.
Well, you mentioned a lot of the wide receivers who aren't here, but the dual quarterback system, I don't know if you can say it's worked yet. Because last week against Illinois State, you know, right there, Bailey and Cole Morgan, they were combined 12 of 31 for only 146 yards. And really, other than the fourth quarter of the Eastern Washington game, well, Cole Morgan came in and kind of led that comeback and led to that win. The Panthers have struggled to find, I think, an identity, especially through the air from that quarterback spot.
Well, it's really remarkable what Aaron Bailey has come in and done. A transfer from the University of Illinois, actually leads the team in rushing, right around 71 yards a game. But he brings that dimension that can be a challenge for defenses, LT, because even when you feel like you have a play stopped, he can keep plays alive with his legs and pick up some first downs.
He has the running ability of a top-notch tailback. He really does. His passing is not there yet. And the one person on the offense from a defensive standpoint that you can never guard one-on-one is the quarterback. And that makes Matt Entz and the Bison defensive staff a little nervous today.
North Dakota State did win the toss. They deferred, so Northern Iowa will have the ball first. Ben LeCompte will be on to boot this one away for North Dakota State to get us started. Savon Huggins and Tyvon Smith. Back for Northern Iowa as we get set to kick this one off. It's homecoming in Fargo, and they are fired up as it's a Peterson Farm Seed kickoff, proudly brought to you by Peterson Farm Seed. And LeCompte doing what he typically does in this building, and that is drive the ball through the back of the end zone, and Northern Iowa will have it at the 25-yard line.
Well, we talk about quarterbacks, and you have to. There was even some question by some people on staff at UNI on who would start today. Some of those guys thought, well, maybe Cole Morgan, but now I think Bailey's the guy that the Panthers want to go with, and he'll be the first guy out. Nope, I'm wrong. Here comes Cole Morgan.
Now, Cole Morgan is someone who has played in this building, and that could have something to do with the decision today. Cole Morgan did play here 2 years ago. It was not a pretty game for Northern Iowa, but he hung in there and made some plays to keep them in it.
He's taken a lot of snaps at quarterback over the years. Remember, he was the freshman of the year.
Inside handoff, a little bit of room this time for the backup running back, Darian Miller, a Kansas transfer, picks up 5 yards on first down, up to the 30. Here is the starting lineups brought to you by Shield, starting with the Bison defense. Up front, they've been really good, especially number 99, Nate Tangway, Nick DeLuca, the leading tackler, and Trey Dempsey. Really coming on at safety on the back end of that defense. Another handoff inside. Bison converge. Greg Menard getting in there along with Robbie Grimsley, the true freshman from Hutchinson, Minnesota, will bring up a 3rd and 3. Here is the Shield starting lineup for that UNI offense. And again, we thought it was Bailey. It's Cole Morgan. We thought it might be Tivis Smith. It's actually Darian Miller out there, so a lot of interchangeable parts. The offensive line is very young. Cal Twait at left tackle is a true freshman starting for Northern Iowa. Cole Morgan to throw, fade pattern, looking deep, and it is caught by Fountain. And Northern Iowa, 67 yards for the touchdown.
That's probably the best way possible to silence a big crowd. It was a one-on-one situation against C.J. Smith, so the best pass receiver for UNI going against the best corner from NDSU. Cole Morgan puts it up, makes it a catchable ball. Smith did not get there, make the tackle, and boom, there goes your 6 points, and it was on 3rd down. The Bison have been outstanding on 3rd down all year long. Not that play. That one belongs to the Panthers.
Huge play. Nice toss there by Sawyer Cole Morgan, who had time to throw it. Just the 2nd touchdown pass of the season for Cole Morgan, and the 2nd receiving touchdown for Fountain. Schmadeke adds the extra point, in Northern Iowa, a quick start, just a minute 9 into the game.
Well, obviously it's important to always get a lead, but I guess in my own mind, Brian, coming into this game, I was thinking that UNI had to find a way to score 28 points. Because the Bison offense, even on its worst day so far this year, has gotten into that range. So in order to have a chance to win, I think you need 4 touchdowns if you're the team there in the white jerseys.
And again, that's just the 4th touchdown now giving up in the last 13 quarters for North Dakota State. So Mark Farley has to be happy with what he's seen in his 15th year with this UNI program. Just 7 wins shy of the all-time record in school history.
The nice thing about that touchdown pass, though, is you just see how it sounds weird, but it looked really soft and really catchable in the air. I mean, when that ball came down, it looked like Fountain. You know, he didn't have to make any adjustments to it. It was right where it needed to be. This will be a good shot of what I'm talking about. It just kind of floats right in the hands of Fountain, and then the sophomore who last year, as Brian mentioned off the top, played second fiddle to a lot of those seniors, but he has emerged. He is the guy to get it done outside this year.
Far and away the top receiver for Northern Iowa, 20 receptions on the season. The next closest has 9, and that's Charles Brown, who is a converted secondary member. Came in as a safety / corner. Made the transition to wide receiver, also on the UNI track team. So we'll see how North Dakota State responds after the first haymaker was landed by Northern Iowa. Another Peterson Farm Seed kickoff. Kick off your planning season with Peterson Farm Seed. This one taken at the 3 to the 20. Good lane to room. And that is a nice return out to the 35-yard line by the true freshman Bruce Anderson. And the Bison good starting field position here on their first drive. So Carson Wentz will take out the offense for the first time today, and Wentz has done a little bit of everything for North Dakota State. Second leading rusher on the team.
Look maybe for quarterback run to be a bigger part of this game plan today. Bison offensive coaching staff, they think that there's an advantage in course of doing that with Wentz, and against this defense, he's a very physical runner as well.
Pistol look here on first down. Wentz will hand it off inside to Frazier, and King Frazier powers ahead for close to 4 up to the 39. Here's your Shield starting lineup for the Bison offense. And we talked about the big boys up front. Jack Planker's back. He started last week. Jeremy Kelly's been an Ironman despite battling some injuries. Joe Haig and Landon Leckler have been very good at offensive tackle. Chase Morlock is the starter, but again, Frazier got the first carry today. They're pretty interchangeable. And keep an eye on Andrew Bonnet, who's getting more and more looks in the receiving game the last couple of weeks. Inside handoff again. Chase Morlock, his first carry. It's almost 4 more. We'll bring up 3rd and 2 as we take a look at the UNI defense. This Shields starting lineup. Different look up front. Keep an eye on Isaac Alice, number 94, the left end. A very talented young player, already with 5 sacks, 7.5 tackles for loss. And the best linebacker, when you talk to some of the folks at Northern Iowa, is Brett McMakin. Very dynamic player as well on the outside. So 3rd and 2. North Dakota State converting very well on 3rd down here the last few weeks. They run power again, and I do not think he got there. Nice job by the interior defensive lineman there for Northern Iowa, holding North Dakota State on 3rd and 2, and will bring up a punting situation.
In NDSU, if it gained anything, Brian, it probably was the length of the football. Outstanding job on the interior. I know you mentioned, Alice, he was in on that tackle, but he was busting down from the edge. But, the guard and the centers, I believe that's where NDSU feels that over the course of the game, it will have some advantages on the inside, but certainly not on that play. Panthers shut it down.
So a 3 and out for Northern Iowa after UNI went down the field and scored in their 3rd play from scrimmage. Compt moves this one inside the 10. Bison players are back, and he is dropped at the 13-yard line as McKinton Dorleant. And we will take a timeout. Northern Iowa starting fast, leading 7-0 on the Egg Country Farm Credit Services scoreboard. North Dakota Sports Network. Beautiful day in Fargo, 80 degrees today in October. We don't get too many of those as UNI goes back to work in a little bit of a fly sweep, room to run, and more nice yardage on first down. 11 yards by Michael Malloy, another one of those running backs for Northern Iowa, picks up another first down.
You know, the guy who caught the touchdown, Fountain, makes the block, the key block on the outside. Number 10, right there. Fountain gets G. Tucker pinned inside and allows the play to come around to the wing.
Smith, this time up the middle, picks up close to 3. Excuse me, Savon Huggins on that carry. So we've already seen 4 different players get carries pretty much in this game for Northern Iowa. Damian Miller, Titus Smith, Savon Huggins, and Michael Malloy.
You know, you talk about quarterbacks and the reason that Cole Morgan may be in here. You got to remember that this is a new offense with a new offensive coordinator, new tight ends coach. All of that stuff is new, put in the spring. Well, Cole Morgan was there in the spring. Bailey was not.
Play action. Cole Morgan wants to go deep again, and this time overshooting his target. And that was Fountain again, who was in single coverage with C.J. Smith. So Northern Iowa not afraid to take some chances here deep in the early going.
Well, if you're going to pass downfield, what do you need? You need time. And we talked a little bit about the offensive line for UNI and how it's been a question mark and it's been inconsistent. But so far in the first 2 series, including that last play, that line has given Cole Morgan the time to get the deep vertical.
Bison bringing pressure. Cole Morgan throws again. And Jalen Allison, the redshirt freshman from Papillion, Nebraska, right there, step for step, breaks it up, and that will bring up a punting situation for Northern Iowa.
That was the most uncomfortable that Cole Morgan has been. Here's an ISO on the outside. Allison, they're playing nickel, so that brings Allison in. It's a one-on-one on the outside, but Cole Morgan was getting a little bit of pressure. The Bison brought some heat. They did a very good job of doing that against South Dakota State as well last week, and that time it came from the wide side. Cole Morgan looked near side, the short side, just to get rid of it. He got popped pretty good on that play.
Brandon Smith, the intended target there, actually a transfer from the North Dakota State College of Science. Eric Perkins from his own 20, another good room to run here for Eric Perkins, and the Bison doing a nice job on special teams, creating seams for their runners. And the Bison will start at the 40-yard line. 10:35 to go here in the first quarter. UNI leads at 7-0. Their second possession from their own 40-yard line. 3 receivers in this set. Carson Wentz yet to attempt to pass. Wentz will take off with it. Across the 40, lowers his shoulder, and gets to about the 45-yard line. Taken down by the safety, Joe Feldspaw.
Well, the Bison felt that UNI is a team that kind of takes its defense and puts a lot of its faster, more athletic players to the wide side, which coaches call the field. So that means NDSU conversely feels that it can attack the boundary, which is the short side. After the fake, where did Wentz run? He ran to the short side. So see if that's a theme that plays itself out today. Bison think they have an advantage and now unbalanced to the boundary side. When you flip the tight end.
Wentz to throw, pressure comes, and Wentz can't step out of it, and eventually taken down by Brett McMakin for a loss of 1.
So that'll go down probably. I don't know if that's a sack or not. Does that go down as a sack because he bounced, or is he tried to get upfield?
I think it is a sack, only because he lost yardage. That was clearly a passing situation for North Dakota State, and Northern Iowa right now doing a nice job on the defensive line.
Coming into today, NDSU has only allowed 6 sacks, and 4 of those, you remember, were against UND that brought all that blitz. So, you know, other than that, in those other games, that's only the 3rd time that NDSU has been sacked other than that UND game.
Play clock down to 4. Wentz to throw again. Pressure comes. Wentz across the middle, and this off the hands of his intended target, Lucas Albers, and incomplete, and another 3 and out for NDSU.
Boy, I like what UNI did there. They brought a blitz. They brought a hot guy from the wide side of the field. Morlock had to come up, step up. He got his block, but what it did is it took away the ability for Wentz to be able to step up into the pocket and get a little bit more comfortable going forward. He couldn't do that. Had to hang back a little bit, and he missed his, it was a tight window he was trying to hit, but he missed it.
So UNI, 2 3 and outs to start defensively as Ben Lecomte is on to boot this one away. It bounces at about the 12-yard line and takes a hop to about the 10 and eventually down by Nick DeLuca. And that's where Northern Iowa will have it when we come back. It's 7-0 on the Ag Country Farm Credit Services scoreboard. Marcus Williams, 21 interceptions in his career here in North Dakota State, now playing for the New York Jets. Back for homecoming as the Jets have a bye week. Worked out really well as Cole Morgan fires across the middle. And this one incomplete, and Cole Morgan took a shot from Brian Schatz. Braden Lehman, the intended target, will bring up 2nd and 10.
Boy, I like what that play did. It was designed to have a whole bunch of movement in the backfield.
Here's your Bobcat game recap. Quick strike UNI score just a minute 9 into the game on a 67-yard touchdown reception by Fountain.
The other thing that last play did too is it really put the pressure on Trey Dempsey, the safety. They try to get him in conflict.
Pressure comes again. This one dropped off and incomplete. Malloy again, the intended target, will bring up 3rd and long. MJ Stump in on that coverage. Nodak Mutual Insurance replay.
Well, you see, somebody got held. They didn't hold him down. Doesn't matter. Stump was in on the coverage. Stanley Jones coming around one side too. So both defensive ends from the Bison had pretty good rush on that particular play.
And again, this is a new offense, LT. You mentioned it, no huddle. Sometimes difficult to communicate with the crowd noise. Cole Morgan under pressure, steps out of it, flag comes in, and he is eventually taken down by Nick DeLuca, 2 yards short of a first down.
When the pocket started to collapse on Cole Morgan, that's when the flag came, and it will come to your left. Look on the left part of your screen. You see Stanley Jones. He gets just torn down. I mean, both hands ripped his shoulders through him down.
Offense number 75. That penalty's been declined. Result of the play is 4th down.
So the Bison will decline and make it 4th down, but that's where the hold came. The hold came from, I should say.
And that's on Cal Twait. Again, that true freshman, first offensive lineman that has started as a true freshman in 21 years, LT.
Yeah, since 1984. Yeah.
Northern Iowa certainly had their share of good linemen. Interestingly enough, Twait was actually on the NDSU campus the week before signing day, and that was between Northern Iowa and NDSU, and certainly from the state of Iowa decided to stay with the Panthers. And this kind of a wobbler. Takes a hop at the 45 and out of bounds at about the 46. Punt by Sam Cooter.
Well, the Bison have had starting field position right here on 3 different drives, and nothing has come out of it. You know that this is an NDSU offense that wants to take advantage of the field position. You've got to get some points. If you're starting, you know, between 50 and 60 yards away, you need points out of it. So far, UNI has obviously won that battle because you can see on the bottom of your screen, the Bison have no points.
Just 12 yards of total offense here in the first 2 possessions. Run to the outside. Frazier, good room that time. Nice sealed block on the edge. And Frazier picks up close to 8.
Well, this is exactly what we're talking about on the Nodak Mutual Insurance replay, how NDSU feels it can attack the boundary, the short side. As King Frazier is able to turn that corner, Bison get more people than UNI has. A couple of key blocks, you know, and 8 yards on first down. You'll take it every time.
Sam Reth coming all the way from his defensive tackle position to make the tackle downfield. It looked like somebody jumped. Might have been Wyatt Pfeiffer.
Yeah, and that made Haig move, and then Haig points, and Pfeiffer said, yeah, I think I got in there.
Offside. Defense number 78. That penalty's 5 yards and results in a first down.
Penalties have been an issue for Northern Iowa. They had a bunch of them last week against Illinois State and really hurt them.
Yeah, if you watched the post-game comments from Coach Farley last week, I mean, he laid it right out on the line. He felt that the reason that directly off of penalties that Illinois State scored 21 points because of mistakes made in the penalties by the Panther defense.
Handoff outside. Bruce Anderson brought down by McMakin. Also in there, Carter Schultz, who had a big game last week against Illinois State. 10 tackles, 5 for loss.
Well, he's
loss
got
of 2 there.
5 to make it, he's coming in. He had 8 tackles for loss, and he was certainly in there. I mean, the defensive line for UNI is certainly not big. They're built more on speed and footwork because Alice is 268, and you got 265, 271, and 235 from McNeil. That's not huge.
See what the Bison do here on 2nd and long. Play action. Inside screen to Frazier, who's got blocking downfield. King Frazier eventually taken down by Feldspaw, but he's got a first down up to the 30. Gain of 13.
Austin Kunert has an awesome one. He snaps the ball, and then Kunert will stay engaged. You'll pick it up right there in the middle of your screen. That is a pancake. He just flattened his man. No one else on the inside able to pick up that first down. That's been a play that, if you've watched Bison football the last handful of years, we know that it has worked and worked
Official
well.
timeout for an injury.
It looks like someone is hurt over on the far sideline here for Northern Iowa. He is huddled by the training staff, not quite sure who to see, what the number is.
You can see top of your screen, there's a couple of trainers kneeling around. There's a player on the sideline right at about the 28-yard line or so.
So Northern Iowa here trying to hang on as they've taken the early 7-0 lead. Now North Dakota State finally getting into a little bit of a rhythm, LT, and trying to catch the Panthers coming upfield as we take a look at your high-definition sponsor for today, Parents Lead. Have conversations with your children that matter. Learn more at parentslead.org.
Player, by the way, was a junior, Deshaun Dexter, number 30.
Dexter new to that role. Of course, Jake Farley has manned that middle linebacker spot for so many years. And Northern Iowa.
And there still is another Farley out there making tackles at the linebacker, and he happens to wear the same number that his brother did and that his dad did. Yep. Number 46.
Jared, only a sophomore.
Kind of a legacy, becoming a legacy number anyway with the Farleys.
Back to a ground game. This is Bruce Anderson keeping on his feet. And how about Bruce Anderson, the true freshman, some fancy footwork on the sidelines. Driven out of bounds by Tim Kilfoy, but not after. He gains 9 yards.
Well, you can certainly see why we were told to look for this type of a play. You get the real good pin from Haig. He also gets help from a tight end. So you pin the defensive end that helps open up the outside, and then working the short side of the field again. Another gain of almost 9 yards on first down.
We should mention Lance Dunn not available today for North Dakota State. Has a hamstring issue.
Well, you know he would want to play. He's from Waterloo.
And again, the offensive lineman, defensive lineman, everybody jumps. And I think it might go on the Bison this time.
Yeah.
Prior to the snap, false start. Offense number 59. 5-yard penalty, 2nd down.
Tell you, if you can get Joe Haig, because of some of the things you may be doing as a defensive line, if you can get that guy to make a mistake, you've done something, because he just doesn't do it very often. Twice he's been the offensive lineman of the week, and he's one of the best in FCS in the country, flat out. I mean, the NFL comes here to look at Wentz, yes, but they're also looking at Joe Haig.
So the Bison now in a 2nd and 6 from the 26. Wentz time to throw again, fires down the middle into double coverage. And that one is batted away. Nice job defensively by McKinton Dorleon, the transfer from Maryland, who came in to knock that one away from Bruce Anderson.
Well, the Panthers kept 6 in the box and did not bring any blitz pressure. So Wentz had some time to try to find the seam, tries to just squeeze it right in there, but Dorleon is able, he's trying to play in a deep third on that far side. He's able to read the ball, read the quarterback, and beat the ball to the spot.
NDSU right around 50% on 3rd down this season. Panthers bring only 4. Wentz downfield has an open receiver. And at the last moment, it was knocked away by Dorleant from Nate Moody. who was open for a hair, but Wentz couldn't quite step into that throw just enough, LT.
Boy, that looked like a touchdown about 10 yards before the goal line. Nodak Mutual Insurance replay. Wentz will get hit down low, and the pass just lost a little zip in the air, and for the second play in a row, it's Dorleant making a play on the ball. The corners are really good. Dorleant and Hall on the other side. The Panthers love the play they're getting from their corners.
So Cam Peterson on for a 43-yard field goal attempt. Peterson has enough leg, and this one is good. The true freshman now 5 for 5 in his career, and North Dakota State on the board, now trailing 7-3. And Peterson has really been a pleasant surprise, LT. They weren't exactly sure how the kicking situation was going to work. It started with Ben Lecomte, who's the punter, but they've really found something now in Peterson, who's been rock solid.
Yeah, Lecomte certainly has the leg for it, but he just, when you don't do it for as long as he did, you don't have the timing. The other thing you got to remember about that too, Brian, and let everybody know, is Lecomte was the holder. So now you had the holder become the kicker, and then once Peterson came in there to become the kicker, Lecomte goes back, becomes the holder. The timing with Fisher and everything else works out seamless, makes the freshman look good. Everything's on time. Certainly not the touchdown that the Bison covet, but at least his points.
They did move the ball about, what, 34 yards to get into field goal range.
Well, we saw on that drive, I guess either way you want to look at it, the power of the penalty. The Bison were rolling along until the false start. It becomes, instead of second and short, second and a little bit longer, then it becomes third down. Wentz can't quite get the pass where he wants to Anderson, and now you're kicking a field goal. Or the shot to Moody, I guess, either.
So Lecomte on for this Peterson Farm Seed kickoff. Kicked off your planning season with Peterson Farm Seed, and another deep kick.
Now, what did we say about leg strength with Lecomte? He has it. You saw where the first kickoff went to.
Tyvis Smith will take a knee, and Northern Iowa will have it at the 25. Let's take a look now at our North Dakota Soybean Council trivia question. What percentage of North Dakota soybeans is used for human consumption? LT, any guesses?
No. I'm going to go with
4%.
So we'll see later on how close we are.
We'll have the answer for you coming up in just a little bit. Sawyer Colmorgan, maybe not the surprise as a starter today. He's only got one completion, but it went for a big one, 67 yards and a touchdown.
Yeah, if you're going to only have one, that's the one to have.
Huggins gets the carry this time, a transfer from Rutgers, held up initially on the play by Jordan Champion and then finished off by Chris Board, I believe, on the tackle.
You know, the Panthers, we talked about wanting maybe one of these two quarterbacks emerge. I think they're kind of in the same boat with the running backs. I mean, you've mentioned how many of them we've had carry the ball already here today with Smith and Miller and now Huggins in there, but no one really has been the go-to guy in that department yet for you and I either.
Huggins transferred here with two of his former high school teammates. They were playing at West Virginia, Rutgers, and there's Huggins again.
Nope.
Oh, no, excuse me, Colmorgan. Great keeper. Colmorgan showing off the athleticism. And how about Sawyer Colmorgan, not known for his running, but gallops all the way to the 32-yard line, taken down by Robbie Grimsley.
Well, Brian, the fact that he's not known for his running may have helped spring him there, because you sell out on the fake, and it was a great fake. He gets the block. You see how the Bison got their heads caught. Ambrosius wasn't looking in the right spot. Boom, a big gainer.
So Colmorgan back to pass across the middle, and that one is broken up as a flag comes in at the last minute. Robbie Grimsley in on the coverage. Braden Lehman was the intended target.
Well, Lehman's certainly a big target. He's a big man running down the field, and Grimsley tried to time it right, and I thought he was there just a little bit early, and obviously the back judge did too. He's there early. That's a good flag.
So that will move UNI even closer.
2 fouls on the play, 1 on each team. Holding, offense number 69. Pass interference, defense number 35. Those penalties offset. Replay first down.
Well, we didn't pick up on the hold, but when you've got a 6'7", almost 275-pound guy running down the middle, and Grimsley, the freshman, knows that if I'm going to dislodge this ball, I have to hit this big man, and I have to hit him hard. He was just there a little bit early.
So the hold goes on Trevor Hansen, and we'll do it all over again here on 1st and 10.
tell you, though, UNI's been really doing some nice stuff on offense.
They are being aggressive. They're taking shots and already some big plays. Cole Morgan again will throw down the far sideline for C.J. Smith. And is it intercepted? I think so.
Yep, he got it. I was first thrown off by what I saw something fly in there. Well, it was the official's hat. That was just his way of saying the receiver went out of bounds first before trying to come back, and it doesn't matter because at the end of this play, the dive and the catch made by the Bison athlete.
C.J. Smith coming up with the interception. Again, singled up.
Rolling on the field is an interception. First down, North Dakota State.
They may take a look at this to make sure Smith wasn't out of bounds before making the pick.
I thought he was in when he made the dive, and nice play. Nice reaction to the ball in the air, though, once he turned around. And
sure enough,
the officials are going to look at this.
Ruling on the field in the previous play was an interception. That play is under further review.
I think he caught the ball fine, but again, the feet around the boundary in question.
Yeah, you have to establish your infield presence with your feet. It's not, in this case, maybe not where the ball necessarily is, but it's where he was when he took off. Interception, wasn't it?
Boy, tough to see. That might be tough to overturn just because the camera angle.
Well,
his
left foot went out.
Yep.
Okay, but then the right foot comes back down, I think, before engaging the ball again.
Let's take a look.
Okay, he's out now. Did he reestablish himself back in with that toe?
Tough to see. There's no question he caught the football.
You can see Fountain going, I was forced. He's like, I was forced out. I didn't get a chance. He's looking for the flag, and he's not going to get it.
And again, this may be tough to overturn just based on the vantage point we have. But if they can determine he did not establish, Northern Iowa might keep the football here.
And it has to be something usually definitive.
After further review, the ruling on the field stands. First down, North Dakota State.
Probably, as you said, Brian, too close to call for sure. But if his right toe gets back in, I think he's back in the field of play, and then he can make first contact with the ball.
Well, Mark Farley not happy about it. Cost his team a shot at least 3 points. Now the Bison have it at their own 4. Just under 4 minutes to go here in the first quarter. A mistake-filled first quarter for both teams, LT.
False start.
Yes.
Offense number 46. That penalty's half the distance to the goal.
For confirmation.
Still first down.
You have it.
That's on Andrew Bonnet, so half the distance to the goal will back up North Dakota State to the 2.
Yeah, 22 personnel in there for the Bison. 2 backs, 2 tight ends. Certainly a run-first look.
I got to give credit to Northern Iowa, LT. They've come in here and really kind of taken the crowd out of the game with some of the things they've done on both sides of the ball. Inside handoff, not much room. Frazier ahead for about 3. Here's a look at your North Dakota Soybean Council trivia question and answer. What percentage of North Dakota soybeans are used for human consumption?
How far off am I?
Ooh, not bad. 8% is the answer.
I actually meant 4% times 2.
There you go.
They must have cut my mic off and they didn't hear that part.
2nd and 9 coming up. Inside handoff again. Not a whole lot of room to maneuver. Up to about the 7-yard line, Chase Morlock.
Well, I think that was Farley that just kind of heaves himself right in the middle. Check out number 46 coming from the middle.
Right here.
Here he is, 46. Yeah, Farley just kind of takes the lead block away, and once you do, you disrupt the play.
Jared Farley, playing as a true freshman last year.
Leading the team in tackles coming into this game as well.
So 3rd and long here for the Bison, 3rd and 7. Wentz will step up and try to step out of a couple tackles. Trying to get away, but he's still on his feet. Carson Wentz is not going to have a first down, but I don't think they marked him down at the 5-yard line. And instead he's going to be about a yard short up at the 13.
Boy, McMakin goes, I spun him all the way down, but not all the way to the ground. But this still, Brian, is a 4 rush. Panthers only rushed 4, and Wentz was not able to get, anything downfield. So you got to like that 4 front pressure. Spinning away from one of the defensive line, Schultz. And yeah, he doesn't go down.
Yeah, he didn't. His knee was actually on the defender. So still a 3 and out. So Northern Iowa holds again. Cops. Nice high, deep punt. Fair catch called for at the 33 and taken by McKinton Dorleans.
Well, the defense that showed up today for UNI is not the same one that played last week.
I completely agree. By the way, that was about a 52-yard punt for Ben LeCompte. Yeah, Illinois State really came out gunning at home last week, and before you knew it, they were up a couple of touchdowns, and Northern Iowa was playing catch-up mode the whole game. Different story here today.
Yeah, I was impressed by the way the Redbirds were able to move that defensive line. The Bison so far today have not been able to do that with any consistency.
Cole Morgan has been the quarterback exclusively here, and this time he'll hand it off. Not much room this time, loss of 2. This time it was Darian Miller on the carry. As we take a look at our new seed fan cam, a lot of these folks have been up early. ESPN Sports Center on the road was here from 6 to 8 a.m. And there's a couple of former Bison that we caught a look at. David Johnson, I remember him. Or David Earl, excuse me. Played cornerback here.
But on that last play, just see how Ambrosius stayed. He kept his eyes where he wanted to on that long run by Cole Morgan. Ambrosius didn't.
Sweep to the outside. Nice open field tackle by Trey Dempsey on Michael Malloy. No gain. We'll bring up 3rd and 11. Nodak Mutual Insurance replay.
G. Tucker makes this belly a little bit further. You see Fountain trying to make that same block he had success with earlier, number 10. But then G. Tucker is able to make that play, not cut up where the runner wants to. He has to go about another 5 steps before doing that, and then the pursuit was able to get there.
UNI has not been shy about taking shots downfield here on 3rd and long. Cole Morgan under pressure, and down he goes. Greg Menard, his 4th sack of the season.
Fourth in the last two games, because he played his best game in a Bison uniform last week in Brookings, didn't he?
He really did. 2.5 sacks in that game, LT. Also had a couple tackles for loss and 4 quarterback hits in addition to that against South Dakota State. So that will bring us to the end of the first quarter, where Northern Iowa scored early, and so far the teams have played even. It's 7-3 after 1. Back with second quarter action from the Fargo Dome after this.
The stock market ended down sharply today despite getting off to a strong start early in the morning.
Sam Cooter back for his 3rd punt of the day. This one better than any of the previous ones, as Perkins will take it at the 30. Not a whole lot of room this time. Dorleant down there makes the tackle at the 29, and that's where North Dakota State will have it.
But D'Angelo Jennings, first guy there, one of the linebackers, he's a senior. He played at Northeast Oklahoma A&M before coming to be a part of the Panther program.
It certainly is a different look, LT, just looking at the way Northern Iowa, you get so used to Xavier Williams, so used to what David Johnson did for them. But they're finding a way.
But they were just such dynamic players that you just waited for them to do their thing, and it helped your team, and it hasn't been there so far. And I think that's part of the reason that inconsistency is a term that's used through the first 4 games.
This is a unique look. Two backs set to the side there of Wentz. And they will throw it. Wheel route, wide open receiver. Caught. First down for North Dakota State as Frazier came running free off that formation. All the way inside UNI territory, down to the 47.
Remember the Chase Morlock touchdowns from earlier this year? This is the same type of play, just from a different look. Nodak Mutual Insurance replay. You try to put one of the safeties in conflict. Who does he go against? Does he stay to the outside, as he did this time, and that left Frazier open? Or in the Morlock touchdowns, he stayed to the inside, and Morlock was able to get out. But whenever you can get somebody, as the coaches say it, in conflict where he's got to decide mid-play, do I go here or here, that means the offense wins.
Two-back set once again. Inside handoff this time for Frazier. Again, Northern Iowa stacking things up. Still got enough of a push for a 3-yard gain. And once again, Ref in on the stop.
And that's Alice, I think, holding his right leg, right ankle.
That's not a guy you want to lose.
He's the captain. He's the vocal leader. He's a semi-finalist for the Campbell Trophy, which goes to the top academic football player in the country. I mean, you talk to anyone around UNI, and they say he is the guy in terms of what he can do both on and off the field for his team and teammates.
And he gives a lot of credit for not only what he's done as a football player, but what he's done as a person, the man he's become because of Bryce Paup, who has come on as an assistant coach. People remember Bryce Paup was a former NFL defensive MVP, played with the Packers, played with the Bills. Says Bryce Paup does a lot of life training on top of just the weight training aspect, on top of just the practice field stuff, that he takes them off and does a lot of life skills for them to try to prepare them for life after football, which is pretty admirable.
Well, Isaac tried to stand up, tried to get to the sideline on his own, took two short little steps, couldn't put weight on the right side, and then went back down. So you hope it's nothing real serious.
And again, Alice, 5 sacks, 7.5 tackles for loss already this season. We'll try to help him up, get him off the field here.
And there's putting some weight on it. Nodak Mutual Insurance replay. Look on the bottom of your screen. A good cut block takes him down to the turf, and that somewhere in that block from Morlock was where something maybe twisted. I like the fact that when Morlock engaged him, his feet didn't stick to the turf. Those are the ones that usually look ugly. His right foot did come up, so hopefully that's nothing serious, because UNI knows what a serious injury in this building is.
Yeah, Jake Farley 2 years ago.
Farley got hurt a couple of years ago. That was nasty.
Wentz will operate out of the shotgun once again. And Morlock gets the carry. And again, nice job filling the lanes there as DeAndre Hall comes in to finish off Morlock for no gain.
But McMakin is the first guy there. He's had a ton of tackles this year. He had 15 tackles in the Cal Poly game. Number 49 is the guy who squirts through there first. He gets first contact on Morlock, and then Hall coming in from his corner spot. Hall's playing too. I guess we haven't mentioned it yet. He's got a broken hand. And he still has had interceptions this year and all that. He's playing with that broken hand. He broke the hand against Eastern Washington. It's his right hand. It's all taped up. Top of the screen right there. Number 1.
Looks like another false start penalty as Northern Iowa was jumping around inside the gaps.
False start. Offense number 75. Snap infraction. That's 5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
And that is the center, Austin Coonert. So now it makes a 3rd and 7, now 3rd and 12.
Those are types of things that you expect the opposing team to have happen to them in this building. We just haven't seen the Bison do a lot of that.
One thing that happened in last year's game, LT, is NDSU got behind the chains a lot. It was had trouble picking up first downs, and we've seen some of that here.
Well, 3rd and long here again.
Pressure comes. Wentz to Urzendowski. That's intercepted.
Kilfoy.
Picked off by Tim Kilfoy down the sidelines. Still has room and still inbounds down to the 11-yard line, and that is the first interception of the season for Carson Wentz, and it's a big one.
Now there's a bunch of flags because there's some after the play stuff between Coonert and Hall, and then Hall popped his helmet off and kept jabbing, and that's when the flags flew. But give Kilfoy some credit. He had a pick last year against Wentz as well in the UNI win.
Wentz trying to find Urzendowski. Kilfoy undercut that thing.
Not much arch on that throw either, too. Wentz really tried to zip it in there on a line. Tried to get it over the shoulder
After
of
the play
Dexter.
is over, unsportsmanlike conduct. Return team number 1 taking his helmet off on the field of play. That penalty is 15 yards. First down. That's
So
number
you and
1's
I will
first
keep the football,
unsportsmanlike
obviously,
conduct
but instead of
foul.
having it at the 21, they will have it at the 26.
Yeah, obviously.
At the 11, excuse me.
There you heard him say the mistake Hall made. I mean, it was not the talking part. He popped his hat off and then he kept jabbering, and there's where the flag happened.
There's a look at Tim Kilfoy.
NFL likes this guy.
Yeah,
they
he's a
like
good player.
They like the potential that he has at that safety position at the next level. He is going to get some looks.
6'1", 215.
Well, he's a preseason All-American and really made a nice break on that ball.
Brown trying to give the defense something here as Huggins, I believe, gets the carry there and taken down by Jordan Champion after a gain of 2. Huggins has not gotten a ton of carries this year, LT. We've seen a lot more of him today maybe than what we would have originally thought.
I mean, I think he only had 38 yards coming into the game, right? He had 1 touchdown. But yeah, he has not been the featured back, and so far today, he kind of has been. You and I with 67 yards both through the air, the 1 touchdown, and on the ground now.
And Cole Morgan's going to keep it again. And that play has worked well the 2 times that UNI has run it, and the Panthers will have a 1st and goal at the 10.
The Bison just must not believe that Cole Morgan is going to turn into the running quarterback. They go, number 15 is our running quarterback, not number 17. So 17's into the game. He's been the guy who's been passing, and now Cole Morgan has made some really nice reads, kept the ball twice, and this is his 2nd really nice game.
North Dakota State, a 25-game home winning streak. And UNI has not shown any fear coming into this building today. Cole Morgan dumps it off to Huggins. And Huggins down to the 5-yard line. Will bring up 2nd and goal there. Again, Savon Huggins is a guy that played a lot of football at Rutgers. I mean, this isn't a guy that was just sitting on the bench. He played quite a bit.
But I think Cole Morgan took 1 quick glance into the end zone, didn't like what he saw, and then just give it to Huggins in the flat, see what he can do. He got about half of what he needed. Not bad on 1st down when you're that deep into your opponent's territory.
And UNI in the Superior Inc. red zone for the first time today. Fly sweep down to the 1-yard line, and UNI will have a 3rd and goal coming up at the 1.
Marcus Waymiller, he was the motion man coming down. He gets the handoff. Walk on from Walk-On Iowa, just like Coach Farley was.
Cole Morgan will try to run it, and I think he's in for a Northern Iowa touchdown. It looked to me like he broke the plane. No official word yet.
Well, that was with you, Brian. I thought first look he was over, but apparently not. Wow.
It certainly looked like he had gotten across, and Northern Iowa might go quick here on 4th and goal from literally the 1-inch line.
Bison trying to get players in. UNI trying to get players in. Here comes Steidel. That 2nd extra guy right at the nose of the football. And one of the few times UNI is going to huddle. Well, yeah, this is a good time to be on the same page.
NDSU had a stop on 4th down at the goal line against South Dakota State last week, and were able to stop them.
The ruling on the field on the previous play was the runner was short of the line of game. Northern Iowa has elected to challenge the ruling on the field. Timeout.
And Mark Farley is going to challenge the ruling that Cole Morgan was indeed across. So we'll take another look at it and find out if he was indeed in. I thought he was in initially, LT.
I was with you. I thought the pile got a big enough push, even though we couldn't tell exactly where the ball was. You just kind of made an assumption that if he holds the ball right behind his shoulders that he first got in. Unless we get a different down angle off of our replays, keep in mind our up cameras are not on the goal line. They're sitting closer to the middle of the field where we are, so you're not going to get the exact down the line. There's Cole Morgan, 17. Stump is in there. He's pulling on him. DeLuca was also trying to keep him out.
Here's another look at it. Nodak Mutual Insurance replay. Cole Morgan, a big guy.
Stumps around his waist. Again, here comes DeLuca.
It's hard to tell.
His head certainly is in there. We can't tell where the football is. Not enough there to overturn it.
We don't think. The officials have not received word yet officially from upstairs.
I mean, the Panthers were starting to line up and ready to go for it, thinking that the review was over. The review is not over.
And obviously, this is a huge play for both teams, but for Northern Iowa to grab a 14-3 lead on the road is significant. This is a big call from upstairs. There's a look at Chris Kleiman, a former Northern Iowa Panther himself. Family still lives down in Cedar Falls area.
The ruling on the field after further review stands as called. It'll be 4th down. Northern Iowa is charged a timeout. They are no longer able to challenge
the play to stand is called.
And that is the one challenge that Northern Iowa gets in the game, so they will have no more challenges today. And again, they do review almost everything upstairs. But Mark Farley really wanted to make sure that that ball had not crossed the plane. And now giving explanation to the long-term time head coach.
With this 3-back set like this, you can almost turn it into a power play on either side, so you don't tip your hand much if you're going to hand it off to the I-back, who is Malloy right now, who's a transfer from Iowa, who has a couple of touchdowns this year.
Cole Morgan will hand it off, and he is in for a Northern Iowa touchdown, and that is Damian Miller. Or excuse me, it is Malloy.
Oh, Malloy, 31.
So Malloy over the top from the 1-inch line, and Northern Iowa has quieted the crowd here in Fargo.
Well, that's Malloy's 3rd touchdown of the year right now. He's caught a long pass play as well. I think the longest offensive play before the 67-yarder was a 45-yard touchdown pass to Malloy. So he hasn't had his hand on the ball a lot this year, but when he has, obviously he's productive. He just got 6 more points for his team.
Boy, Northern Iowa has come in here showing no concern as Schmadeke has the extra point. And Northern Iowa leads at 14-3 with 9:20 to go here in the second quarter. Back with more from the Fargo Dome after this. Beth Houle on the sidelines as a PetroServe USA Bison sideline report. Beth.
Hey guys, that's right. Isaac Ailes right now with a team of trainers around him. They're trying to fit him with a large knee brace. It looks like his right knee got banged up in that play earlier on. They're trying to fit him on that brace, running back and forth, trying to make sure he's as comfortable as possible so he can make a difference in this game for you and I.
All right. Thank you, Beth. And Eric Perkins has another lane to run, and so far North Dakota State has done a nice job on special teams in the return game. And Ray Buchanan Jr. makes the tackle, and yes, that is the son of Ray Buchanan, who played in the NFL for about a dozen years with the Atlanta Falcons, among others.
I'm glad you clarified that, because Ray Buchanan Jr. would indicate that he is the son, of course, of Ray Buchanan. But it is that.
That is that Ray Buchanan.
That Ray Buchanan.
Played with Indianapolis, I believe, for a while, Atlanta. We'll see how North Dakota State responds here, LT.
I mean, Bison are almost down 2-1 in total offense. That is shocking to be at this point of the game.
Wentz to throw in the flat, caught. Albers lunges across for a first down to the 40-yard line. Lucas Albers, 2 catches last week, including a touchdown at South Dakota State. Tim Polasek said getting healthier, which is important.
Nodak Mutual Insurance replay. What you don't see is Bonnet at the bottom of your screen flaring out, trying to suck that linebacker out a little bit further. And then Wentz is able to just kind of fit it right in there.
We've not seen Darius Shepard today. He's dealing with an AC joint. We may see him at some point today, as Wentz will take off on the quarterback run up the middle, gets 5 yards to the 45.
Reth was in mostly on that tackle, but it seems like whenever you're seeing the football,
just tell me when.
Dexter, number 30, has been around it so far in this first half.
Right. And Reth has been pretty active. And off inside to Bruce Anderson, and he has, I believe, enough yardage for a first down. He might be the length of the football short.
Yeah, he's going to be just a hair short.
Stay with us. Coming up after the game for the American Family Insurance Hit of the Game, Ken Kraft Agency, bringing that to you today. So stay tuned for that. We've had a lot of licks already. I'm sure we'll see a few more here in the next 2.5 quarters.
Well, Vrak comes off the field, so you know this will be a really power look here, running look from NDSU.
On it now, motions into the backfield, and they will run power to Frazier. Boy, it's going to be close. And I don't think he got there. No gain.
First spot, no. From where we are up a little bit higher, you kind of just judge from each of the linesmen on either side of the field, and neither of them indicated that he certainly got enough. I like the call to go for it.
A bit of a gamble.
You got to do something, though, at this point. No touchdowns yet, only 3 points.
And Carson Wentz does get it. Stretching that 6', 6" frame across the 45 to the 46.
Here you see Wentz having to straighten out his helmet once again, but yeah, it's tough to take and bend a guy that big and that strong to keep the ball back from going. He only needed a foot, he got about 2.
And that is the first third down conversion for North Dakota State, LT. Just 0 of 6 before that.
That's a little shocking because NDSU has been phenomenal this year on third down, way over 50%.
Down to 6:40 to go here in the first half. Wentz fires, caught. Nate Moody, 15 yards up to the 35.
Well, you mentioned no Shepard playing today, no Williams playing today. One of the things that does is it brings Nate Moody in a lot more snaps to play the outside. Erzendowski comes in and plays a lot more slot receiver. Moody was able to find the soft spot right between Hall and right between the guy I said is always around the ball so far today. Dexter was there as well, but that was one of the better pass and route combos that we've seen today from the Bison. A good read by Moody in his route.
Anderson, the motion man. Wentz will throw. And throw it over the head of Bruce Anderson as time ran out. Pressure applied from his backside.
A little bit of a different, a little different look too from NDSU this week. They're running more run-pass combos. Kind of the, we see so much in these sprint offenses or the read option where that's a run read option. The Bison, that's a run to pass option where Wentz just goes, okay, I don't like the run. I'm going to look for the pass instead of running it himself. He was definitely looking to pass on that particular instance. Here's an unbalanced line to the wide side of the field.
Wentz to Frazier. Again, not much room up the middle. Carter Schultz got in there with some other Northern Iowa Panther defenders and really stopped things up. Yeah, Alice again
did come back in.
This high definition sponsor, Speak Volumes, where one drink isn't always just one drink. Log on to speakvolumes.nd.org for more information.
To this point of the game, you have to give credit where it's due, and it's due inside for the UNI defense. I did not think, judging on what we saw last week, that the Panthers would be able to keep the push or the shove from the Bison offensive line like they have.
Across the middle, this one is caught. What a tremendous catch by Eric Perkins. Wow. Tight window as Wentz fit it in there, and Perkins had to go up to get it.
Boy, just on a line. It's a similar play to the one that got intercepted, actually. And that time Wentz was able to fit it right in, and Perkins went up to get it. Right over the top of the linebacker. You get it right in front of the deep man and before the safety help.
Just the second reception of the year for Eric Perkins as the Bison are in the Superior Inc. red zone for the first time today. Chase Morlock
fumbled.
Lost the football.
Wentz was right there. I don't know if Morlock got it back or Wentz did. No, Morlock did.
So they'll bring up second and goal now as
Rolling
they
on the
lose
field
a
is
yard
fumble.
back to the 11.
Recovered by a teammate, second down.
Really important at this stage of the game, I think, for the Bison to score a touchdown. This just really is, and I think to kind of help emphasize that was going for it on fourth down right at midfield to keep the drive alive.
Ticking down now towards 4 minutes to go here in the second quarter. Wentz. And a flag coming in as I think they're going to get DeAndre Hall for grabbing on and clutching the back of the receiver. I think that was Zach Vra, the intended target.
Wentz took a pretty good lick. He had to hang in there on this one because Vra was battling with Hall downfield. Nodak Mutual Insurance replay. There's the pump fake. Now he's pumped again because he's waiting for Vra to get upfield, and he definitely was held on the play.
Pass interference. Defense number 1. Ball be placed at the 2-yard line at the spot of the foul. Automatic first down.
So the ball will be placed at the 2-yard line, spot of the foul, and that's the penalty on Hall, who, talking to the coaches at North Dakota State, believe is one of the top 2 corners in the Missouri Valley Football Conference. They think real highly of that young man.
I think the difference there between, which I thought was first a hold and pass interference, because pass interference moves it to the 2. If it's a hold, it would have been a half the distance penalty, right? Correct. So the Bison gained probably 3 yards on that play, on that particular call.
Wentz rolls, throws it, open receiver, touchdown, North Dakota State. Jeff Ilias, the sophomore from Wyndmere.
Again, so important, I think, for NDSU and the people in the building that drive ended with the touchdown. Nodak Mutual Insurance replay. Wentz is able to roll out, have plenty of time. Ilias was not pressured at all. All he had to do was catch the thing, and he knew he'd be in.
Peterson will look to add the extra point here. And is able to do so. So the Bison answer back. Falling down by 11. Trim the lead to just 4 here with 3:53 to go in the first half. Boy, nothing has come easy on either side of the ball for NDSU today, and we didn't expect it to,
yeah,
LT, and it certainly hasn't.
No, did we expect it? No. Yeah, Kilfoy was just way too late to the read.
3:53 to go. 14-10 game. We got a good one cooking at the Fargo Dome. Back after this. NDSU offensive line coach Connor Riley there in the white hat, talking some of his big boys up front, saying, nice job. We got to do it again.
Well, you see your quarterback sitting with the offensive line, and you can't tell which one's the quarterback. You know he's one of the big boys, too.
Ben LeCompte on for another Peterson Farm Seed kickoff. Another deep, booming kick. Tyvis Smith has no chance to return that one, and Northern Iowa will have it from the 25 when we come back. 3:53 to go here in the first half.
On the sideline, joined by Marcus Williams. It's homecoming, and it's a homecoming for you. What's it mean for you to be able to come back and check out NDSU for this big UNI matchup?
It's great. I mean, coming back here for homecoming and also against UNI, it's always a big game. It's always a competitive game, a close game, a hard-fought game. So, I mean, being here for this is awesome.
You're in your second year in the NFL now with the New York Jets. Is there any more comfortability in that second year? Is there any more confidence you're feeling in this year?
Yeah, a lot more confidence. I mean, the game just slowed down a lot more since last year. Learning the game more, and then also getting older guys like Darrell Reeves to come in there and help you out. It's been helping me out a lot.
You have a new head coach this year, new coaches in the system. How is that going, adjusting for that? And what are you learning this year that's advancing your game even more?
I mean, just learning why I'm doing things. I mean, since Coach Bowles came in, he's been helping me out a lot. And he's been hands-on with me. He played defensive back as well, so that's great. So, I mean, he's been helping me out. He's been teaching me as much as I can. The whole coaching staff is great. We're trying to get better. We keep getting better every day. They're having great game plans for us. So, I mean, you never know. I mean, we're doing pretty well so far. We just got to keep it going.
To make an impact in a game, you had that interception at the end of the game last week in London, nonetheless, against the Miami Dolphins. What's it like to be making an impact and living that dream?
I mean, it's great. I mean, because it's always, like you said, it's a dream come true. And to be able to make those plays when your team needs it at the end of the game, and from being from a small school and being looked over, it's just big. I mean, it's big for me, big for my family, and I mean, I've been proud of it because, like I said, just got to keep getting better, keep learning, and going from there. Well,
thanks so much. We're all rooting for you. Guys, back to you.
Thank you so much, Beth, and great to hear from Marcus. Great to have him back, and, you know, an undrafted guy. We certainly know how good he was here, and we know when the lights are on how great he was, and has worked himself into a rotation on an NFL team. Pretty remarkable.
Anytime you're undrafted and you make it, you really have to play well to impress people. Xavier Williams, same type of a situation. Probably should have been drafted, I thought, last year, but he wasn't. And he made it, so these two teams obviously represented in the NFL.
3rd and 6.
Important third down for both teams.
UNI just 1 of 5 so far today. Cole Morgan flushed. He's going to take off with it. Puts his shoulder down, and he's got a first down up to the 39-yard line. So Cole Morgan doing it with his legs, and he's a little bit slow to get up.
He was popped at the end of that play real hard. But, yeah, the one thing, you know, we talked about how Bailey was the running quarterback. Cole Morgan was kind of the throwing quarterback. And I tell you, the most impressive thing he's done is make the right reads in the backfield. This time he runs, puts his head down. Was that DeLuca who comes up and makes the initial hit. Stanley Jones on your right side, number 94, flushed him out of the pocket, did a real good job there. And then Cole Morgan gets the first.
So Northern Iowa moving it here. Inside handoff, Miller. Not a whole lot of room that time. Swallowed up by Brad Ambrosius, among others, at the 38-yard line. Ryan Schatz also in there. You take a look at big number 61, another former walk-on. Found him at the dairy farm in Denmark, Wisconsin.
Well, Schatz 61, Steidel 63 are in there right now, and then Tangway number 99. Those three guys kind of man those two positions. How many times have we said their name today? Not very often, and we thought that that position group would have a huge impact, and so far UNI has kind of negated what those three guys have done, and done so well so far this year. One of the reasons why the Panthers have the 4-point lead.
2nd and 9. Cole Morgan again to the air, and this one is almost intercepted. C.J. Smith in the vicinity. Physical battle out there between the wide receiver and the corner will bring up 3rd and long.
I thought this pass came off his hand the worst of all of them so far today.
Here are some of your first half stats brought to you by the North Dakota Certified Seed Producers. We'll have more coming up at halftime as well, but as you can see, pretty even across the board, and certainly what UNI has been able to do in total yardage, in particular on the ground, has been impressive.
Been the key.
So 3rd and 9 for UNI. Crowd really letting UNI's offense have it. Rising, bringing pressure, screen pass. Nice read as Darian Miller was the recipient on the far sideline by Greg Menard, who came all the way over to make the play.
Well, that was Menard's job on that one, Brian, because the Bison brought 2 linebackers and took the defensive end. There you see Menard going back into middle short coverage, like kind of like a middle linebacker, and he played that and played it well. 240-pounder, the sophomore, showing the speed. One of the reasons he's had all those sacks so far is his foot speed. That time he used his foot speed in open space. Impressive move there by 96.
Looks like UNI might just run the clock down. Not sure if they will actually go for it here or not. Now under 30 seconds to go.
Well, if you're going to run it down, that would imply that you are certainly probably not going to go for it, are you? I don't know.
Northern Iowa. That's their second charge timeout of the half.
I wouldn't think so. If you're going to try to go for it on 4th, you would assume the reason you're going for it is you feel you're going to make it, and then you'd want as much time as possible still on that clock.
Be a long field goal for Schmadeke, right around 53, 54 yards.
I'm guessing punt.
Northern Iowa, a couple of impressive drives, though, LT. They've really been moving the football, almost 200 yards of total offense here in the first half against a defense that, frankly, has not been giving up a whole lot of yardage to anybody.
But when we showed that last graphic with the total yards, you have to give credit to a little bit to the defense as well, because NDSU has not had those long, sustained type of drives. Those 3 and outs, especially early in the first half, that UNI's gotten off the field, allowing Mark Farley's offense to stay on it.
And Cole Morgan's coming on, so it appears that they are going for it, unless it's one of those quick punts. Northern Iowa thinking we can do this. They'll leave the offense on the field here on 4th and 7.
Yeah, Coach Kleiman will use a timeout. But if that's the case, I just don't know why he would run the play clock all the way down to 3.
It'll be a 30-second charge timeout.
Unless your thought process is we're just trying to get in a field goal range so we get the first down, spike the ball, or take another timeout, and we'll kick it.
Yeah. I want as much time as I can have.
Again, neither team has been particularly good on 3rd down. UNI just 2 of 7. North Dakota State just 1 of 7.
Coach Farley has more wins than any other coach in the history of the Missouri Valley Football Conference. He's in his 15th year.
Take a look at our Bobcats game recap. Yes, stalemate in total plays. 30 for each team. And again, we've seen North Dakota State rattle off 35-40 first half plays and then really wear teams down. And Northern Iowa's done a nice job staying on the field. Time of possession is with North Dakota State by almost 5 minutes. But UNI's done a nice job sustaining some drives. Cole Morgan almost fumbled the snap. Pressure coming. He's able to squirt free. And Cole Morgan will just step out of bounds. And then a flag comes in. 2 of them come in.
I think they're going to get Tangway for making the tackle out on the white part. So it will be a first down via the penalty. Tangway was the one chasing Cole Morgan. He kept his eyes downfield hoping to find somebody. He knew if he ran it, he was going to be short. The penalty will give UNI the first down.
And field goal range, too, for Schmadeke all the way down to the 20-yard line.
After the play is over, personal foul. Late hit out of bounds, number 99. That penalty's 15
some costly
yards.
Penalties on North Dakota State here in the first
down.
half. My goodness.
So it'll be a full 15 added on to where the ball is spotted at the 35.
Officials still talking about it.
Here, now don't you still wish you had an
Correction
extra 20 seconds on the clock?
If the play was dead, we're going to go back 15 yards. It's first down, North Dakota State at the 20-yard line.
Oh, because it's after the play, LT, it's actually NDSU football.
Oh.
So North Dakota State will not at least give up a field goal attempt here because it was after the play.
Oh, that's an
look at Farley, he is in the face.
Twist. Interesting twist on that call. Because it was a dead ball. The play was over. The play did not result in the ball being carried far enough for a first down. You mark the penalty. Huh.
Well, that is unique. I can honestly say I've never seen anything like that before.
I don't remember coming across it.
So NDSU will take a knee likely here and go into halftime down 4 instead of maybe down 7. Schmadeke, an excellent field goal kicker, especially from 40 in.
Always something fun and different, a little unique twist when these two teams play, isn't it?
Oh boy. So that will do it as Wentz takes a knee. Beth will catch a word with Chris Kleiman here before heading in to the locker room, and certainly probably not going to be happy with some of the penalties and miscues on both sides.
That's the end of the first
But again,
half.
30 more minutes to try to correct those things and come out of here with a victory, which would be the 26th straight for NDSU here at the Fargo Dome.
I think the biggest thing in that second quarter is that the Bison got the impressive drive when they needed it.
Beth is with Chris Kleiman.
Hey, Coach, trailing at halftime, what's the message here in the locker room?
Well, we've got to clean up mistakes. We've had too many mistakes. Give Northern Iowa credit, but we got to have a better second half. We didn't play very well the first half.
Thanks, Coach. Guys.
So much, Beth. 14-10. is your score at halftime. The visitors from Northern Iowa have the lead. Stay tuned. We have the Proceed halftime report coming up just after this. You're watching NBC North Dakota.
You're all excited to book that vacation flight. Plenty of seats to choose from, right? But the minute you try to use reward miles from your airline credit card, it's slim pickings. The flight you want, sorry, they ask for a ridiculous number of miles. Time to switch to the Capital One Venture Card. With Venture, you'll earn unlimited double miles. And using those miles is easy. Just book any flight you want on any airline, then use your miles to cover the cost. No blackout dates. What's in your wallet?
Welcome into the ESPN 3 Halftime Report presented by Capital One. I'm Antonieta Collins. Now, coming up, we'll join the ESPN Goal Line Network in progress to get you up to date with all the action that's going on today. Goal Line features unlimited live cut-ins, highlights, and analysis from the biggest matchups throughout the day. But first, let's take a look at this week's Capital One Cup impact performance. Houston quarterback Greg Ward Jr. Ward Jr. took advantage of the spotlight as he ran for 4 touchdowns. His teammate Kenneth Farrow ran for 3. Now the quarterback completed 16 of 18 passes for 243 yards, leading the Cougars with 82 yards on 14 carries and finding the end zone in each quarter as Houston defeated SMU 49-28. Ward has rushed for 11 touchdowns this season. That moves him into a tie with LSU's Leonard Fournette for the FBS lead. All right, let's get you updated with everything that is going on today and join the Goal Line Network in progress. Just a reminder that Goal Line is available through participating TV providers and live on Watch ESPN. Enjoy.
Frohnapple just kind of tossed it up in the air and almost allowed the defense to get underneath at that time, but wide open because defensively Bowling Green had nobody out there covering the #1 receiver for this UMass team.
1 minute and 34 seconds. Okay, how about that? Beautiful pitch and catch. Still looking for a point. Wake's got the ball. 42 seconds and counting in the first. In Chestnut Hill, ACC matchup. This was the previous play.
Everything. You feel the body, just enough separation, and a beautiful throw by Wolford as they're quick to the ball. That's the game plan. We're going to go quick when we get these first downs and move the sticks. But what a beautiful throw by Wolford, and what a catch by Cortez Lewis to go up and high point it. Man, that's a big-time play.
Wake Forest went with a formation trying to neutralize the strength of Boston College's defense right up the middle by splitting everybody across the field. They ended up losing 2 on the screen to Lewis after a big 41-yard catch a moment ago.
41-yard catch. They're giving up an average defensively, Boston College, of 96 yards a game.
First quarter timeout.
So Dave Clawson's team into plus territory. First time today. 15 minutes in the books, though, at Chestnut Hill.
Final possession.
All right, no score there. Plenty of scoring here after the UMass touchdown, kicking off to Bowling Green.
With 2 timeouts remaining, Falcons will start this drive just shy of their own 20 after the return by Miller.
First look between LSU and South Carolina, originally slated to be played in Columbia. They're playing today in Baton Rouge in front of a crowd of 41,000. Farrow Cooper on the jet sweep.
Arguably the most dynamic player offensively for South Carolina, run out of bounds by Tre'Davious White.
And so when you lose Nunez, you lose a lot of your zone read, quarterback making things happen. So you need guys like Cooper to get involved with the rushing attack. He's the Swiss Army knife of this offense. He can play receiver.
We're back on ESPN News. This is our first look at LSU and South Carolina. If you're wondering, as you know, usually the home team is always on the bottom there on the score. Technically, this is a South Carolina home game, even though it's being played in Baton Rouge. There's been flooding near the South Carolina campus, moving the game. Best for all parties involved.
That ball thrown a little bit high, intended for Terry Gujar. And it'll be 3rd down and long for the Gamecocks coming up. Kevin Tolliver providing the coverage that time. I mentioned Orth started the Georgia game, struggled in that contest as his team lost 52-20. Former walk-on looking at 3rd down and 7.
Well, he's a pocket passer. LSU knows where he will be. They will send their guys right at him.
Orth, quick drop, and it's going to be Cooper, and more Cooper today. 1st down on the catch. Thomas makes the tackle. Rod, how do they make it easier for Orth at quarterback today?
Well, you have to have a lot of high percentage passes, short passes. Try to get him some things that are easy for him to do. Remember, confidence. You're talking about a guy who had a 6 for 17 game against Georgia. So get his confidence going with the short passes.
3 receivers out to the left this time. Gets good protection. Or tries to squeeze it into a very tight window.
All right, look at Matt Johns. He's driven him down inside the red zone and more. Oh, I'm sorry.
TJ Thorpe with the catch. There's a flag back by the 19-yard line and one on the 20. The center Jax Mateo limping around. Looks like they're going to bring this one back.
Chop block. Offense. Number 50 and 4. Half the distance to the goal. 3rd down.
Mike London says, "Are you kidding me?" Yeah, Mateo locked in blocking, and Mizell, number 4, is going to come up and hit a man that's engaged low. And that's a close one there. It looked like it was around the waist area, but they had deemed that a chop block. And 2 big penalties in this drive now for Virginia. Can they do it again? Well, the thought process here has to be, if you're play calling, is you're trying to get about half of this back. Everybody at Hines on their feet. 3rd and 25 for the Cavaliers. Pressure screen underneath. Defended well. TJ.
That'll pick up something. Not nearly what they need. 3rd down for Orth.
Slings it up top and caught. Farrell Cooper with a 1st down. Got in behind the coverage of Dwayne Thomas. And no flags on the play. Actually, there is a flag down.
I think they got LSU offside.
On the defense, number 92.
Here we go. 4th and 23. What does Johns have in him?
He's got time. And it's caught for a 1st down. Cavaliers, TJ Thorpe with a great catch after a terrific throw. Back shoulder. It really is. It's just an underthrown fade route that turns out perfectly. Thorpe does a good job with the late hands. He doesn't show that he's trying to catch the ball. Pitts does not adjust to it. And an excellent job of Johns putting Thorpe up the back. Pickup of 32. Wahoo's still alive. 1:27 to play. Johns steps up, drills the slant, has it complete. That's Keon Johnson. A good catch by Johnson coming inside on the slant, knowing the linebacker was coming to hit him. He did a good job of squeezing it, moves the chains. Boy, they flipped the switch, and all of a sudden the Cavaliers have Pitt on their heels. Running a lot of time here, only a minute left in the game. Trying to get everybody lined up. 62 seconds left. Under a minute. Look out. Couldn't climb the ladder. TJ Thorpe too high for him. Again, Pitts on the coverage. Well, 46 seconds and 1 timeout. You're trying to get yourself down where you have some shots at the end zone. Obviously, that shot doesn't exist other than a Hail Mary right here. Taquan Mizell has got to figure, Mizell's got to figure in right here. That time they ran 4 receivers off, which took most of the coverage for Pitt down the field. And Mizell was isolated on the linebacker. Number 4 is your best player. Got to find a way to get Mizell the ball in space, isolated against the linebacker. Virginia's been a screen team all year. But they've been going downfield today, and they're going downfield again to TJ Thorpe, and again it's overthrown. They rushed the throw. They came with pressure. You got man coverage on the outside. Thorpe's got the out route and just made a poor throw. Thorpe at the top of the screen. Mizell does a good job of picking up the linebacker, runs him by Johns. He's got enough time to set his feet and throw it, and just made a poor throw. Running out of downs again. We don't need that guy on the sideline. 3rd down and 10. Worn out. He's out of gas, so he's on the sideline, and the biggest play of the game, Albert Reed on that long runs in the game at running back.
TJ Thorpe is sucking wind as well on 3rd down and 10. Coming out of his break late, it was thrown wide. Keon Johnson didn't get a chance. Again, it's down to the last down.
Yeah, I think Coach London's going to burn his timeout, try to get the best play possible in right here.
4th quarter, 4th down, 35 seconds to go. If you want to see that game finish, you can always watch it on the Watch ESPN app, no matter where you are. For those of you on ESPN News, it's time to say goodbye for the moment. We're leading you up to kickoff between UConn and Central Florida at Bright House Network Stadium in Orlando, where, boy, the Knights could really use a win in the worst of ways. Al Golden, George O'Leary feels your pain. Time to step down, flying over the stadium. Here's Anish Shroff and Ahmad Brooks. We'll see you at the half. Our first look at Clemson, looking for their 13th straight home win at Memorial Coliseum. That would set the school record. Look at this.
On the outside, and Goldman is gone. 66 yards for a touchdown. Sharon Peake threw an awesome block on the outside to get rid of the last defender.
Looks like the weather's exactly the same as it was in Clemson a week ago, right? 4th and 10, here we go, 35 seconds. UVA does not have a timeout. Pitt does, they called one. Gets set on defense.
Boy, maybe a good timeout for Virginia because Mizell was not on the...
Capital One studio update. Hold your breath if you're a Georgia fan. Nick Chubb. Take a look at what happens here against Tennessee. Going to the outside, and oh boy. Now, I'm not going to put the cart before the horse here, but remember, last year Georgia's season was derailed when Todd Gurley tore his ACL. Oh my goodness, do you see that left leg? We're waiting on word on exactly what this is. When we find out, we will let you know. Obviously, Georgia coming off that loss to Alabama. That does not look good. Not good at all. But you're talking about one of the toughest players in all of college football. A year after Gurley goes down, Chubb. My goodness, we'll keep you up to date. That's a huge story that's developing as we speak. Here we go, 4th and 10. No timeouts for UVA. 9th play of the drive. Needing to keep it alive. Touchdown to Todd.
Kanan in the slot at the top, Thorpe at the bottom. 9th play of the drive. Will they get the 10th? Johns throws. Incomplete. That'll do it. Mike London is looking for a flag. Boy, and he might have an argument here.
Oh, I think he does.
Maddox, the young corner, playing against Thorpe on the outside. Johns gets really good protection. Give the offensive line a ton of credit. That's bang, bang. Unless he hooks him with the back arm, Maddox.
Right there, he's riding him like a pony.
Yeah, I don't know about that, Tim. I think that's...
Offensive guy, defensive guy.
Yeah, how about me giving the defense some credit? It certainly looked like maybe we've seen a lot more contact than that. Obviously, the game and the balance, Mike London wanted the call. Certainly, TJ Thorpe wanted the call.
And Pitt holds them off, goes to 4-1, 2-0 in the ACC.
Narduzzi and company, look out for them in the Coastal. Michigan looking for its 3rd straight shutout. They're going to get the points. Now it's a matter of not giving up any, right? J.U. Chesson, 106 yards to the house. Their first kick return for a score since 2009. 52 seconds in. They're up 7-0. The civil conflict. Everybody mind your manners. If you care about this game. I'm not sure even these two fan bases do, to be honest with you. UConn and UCF. Banners flying high. Points to be determined.
In total offense, the worst rushing offense in the country. On play 1, the return of the quarterback paying dividends.
Well, that was the difference there. He stood tall in the pocket, and that's one of the harder routes to throw is that out route going away from the action.
This is Nick Patty And he's taken down at the 45 by Obi Melanfonwu to find UConn safety. It's a gain of 8 as we take a look at our impact players when UCF has the ball.
Yeah, you haven't seen him yet, but I talked about him earlier. Running back Dontravius Wilson returns and really is a guy with a great center of gravity, great balance, and will boost for this team. And on the opposite side, UConn relies heavily on number 90, Julian Campini, to be a guy that plugs up the middle and makes it hard to run.
Holman 2 for 2 to the air again. Downfield and a little too far for Patty. It'll bring up 3rd down. This is a UCF offense which has just been devoured by injuries. The quarterback, Holman, missed the last 3 games, really 4 games. He was hurt on the first series in week 2 against Stanford. They've been decimated at running back. You mentioned Dontravius Wilson back today, but Taj McGowan, who had been filling in, is out today.
Go, Jerry! Here we go!
Again to the air. Holman swing pass. He's got C.J. Jones. And Jones dragged Graham Stewart for an extra couple of yards to pick up the first.
Yeah, and that is a nice conversion here for UCF as they continue to try to get some momentum. An easy throw there.
Just underway there. LSU, our first look at Leonard Fournette. South Carolina attacked on a field.
We hope you enjoyed all the fast action coverage from the Goal Line Network. We'll continue to provide this service every Saturday throughout the rest of the college football season. That's going to do it for the ESPN 3 Halftime Report presented by Capital One. I'm Antonietta Collins. Enjoy the second half.
So what's the best?
Congratulations on the honor. A women's basketball player from 96 to 2000. What does this honor mean for you?
Well, it's really representative of the team and the tradition that comes with playing women's basketball at NDSU and really now every sport at NDSU. And so it's just a huge honor for me. I had so much fun playing here, but being part of the Bison family, that's really what this means to me.
What's your message, your advice to college athletes today?
You know, I don't think the message really changes from when we played to when they're playing now. You know, you go out every day, you give it your best, and when you give your best, then your teammates end up with their best, and collectively you try to put that together and do great things, and it's proof positive here at NDSU that that's happening.
What do you think of Martin Walseth and what she's been able to do already in her first year with the program? How bright does the future look for you and for NDSU women's basketball?
Yeah, oh, the future is very bright. You know, bringing Martin in was such a great decision by the NDSU administration. She just has a new energy, but she also has that respect and that want to bring back that tradition of Bison excellence in the women's basketball program, and she's doing it. And you could tell in the stands last season, and we look forward to what's to come this year.
Well, thanks so much for joining us. Congratulations again on the induction. Guys, back to you.
Thanks so much, Beth. And Jane Gust, and Jane, even when she was playing, was a great basketball player back in the day, LT, and you even got to see her in high school a little bit.
Well, I saw her do something that I don't know if it's ever been done again in South Dakota. Jane was hurt a lot her senior year for Sioux Falls O'Gorman, and then came back and got healthy and was able to play into the playoffs. Well, they meaning the Knights, advanced to the state tournament as the number 8 seed. And the coaches had to work on Jane and basically say, you have to shoot, don't pass the ball. If we're going to win, you've got to do it. She, along with a little bit of help, won the state championship for O'Gorman as the 8 seed. It had never been done in South Dakota at that point, and I don't know if it's been done since, but Jane Even and O'Gorman, she was awesome in that little run. It was fun to watch her.
And not a bad career at NDSU either under Amy Ruley. Had some pretty good years as well. We caught a look at Carson Wentz getting worked on, Chris Kleiman. It's been a physical first half. We knew it would be. North Dakota State gets the ball here to start the second half. What adjustments do they need to make here on this opening drive to try to take the lead or at least move the ball down the field a little bit?
Well, it's been interesting because, you know, coaches come in with a game plan, and Coach Polasek shares some of that with us just to kind of give you at home some of the things to look at. Tim thought that the 3-back set would be an important one. Well, we haven't seen it a lot so far today, and when we've seen it, it has not been that effective. And so that's one of the things that, man, we thought this would work. It isn't. You go in, you talk things over, and when you have a veteran quarterback like Carson Wentz, who's been out on the field, you know that he's going back with the coaches and the coaching staff and Coach Hedberg and saying, hey, 6 out of 11 is not good. You know, we got the 1 touchdown when we really needed it, but, you know, they've got a huge bag of tricks with one of the best quarterbacks in the country to try to pull from that bag. So I think it'll be real interesting. To answer your question, I don't know. I'm not sure what's coming.
Well, again, 2 years ago when Northern Iowa was here, they had a lead pretty much the entire game. North Dakota State got a touchdown late, and they ended up winning 24-23. Sawyer Cole-Morgan started in that game and actually played pretty well. David Johnson also had a big day. But Northern Iowa is certainly not a team that shies away from an opportunity, and they've taken advantage of the opportunities today. And I know Mark Farley said not enough of them, but what they've needed to do, they've done.
I think both teams will certainly, go, hey, this is a rivalry, but I like what Jody Lindy, the SID for football at UNI said. She goes, we view this as a rivalry with respect.
Another Peterson Farm Seed kickoff. Kick off your planning season with Peterson Farm Seed. Eric Perkins will take it a yard deep in the end zone, out to the 15, to the 20, still on his feet, out to the 24-yard line, and that's where the Bison will have it for their first possession of the second half. You got the look at the numbers for Carson Wentz. 6 of 11, 86 yards, a touchdown, and of course the big interception by Tim Kilfoy would set up in Northern Iowa touchdown.
That's where the Panthers have been really solid this year. They have gotten a turnover in every game so far this year, and a couple of those, I think Hall's interceptions, I think was even a pick six. So yeah, that was just an excellent read by Kilfoy to take away that line drive pass, kind of trying to hit a guy up the seam and pick it off and take it all the way down to about the 11. As it always is, important drive for both teams here right out of the gate.
Bruce Anderson, the motion man, gets the carry on the jet sweep, got some blocking. Anderson cuts it up, eventually run down after a gain of close to 10 by Ronell McNeil. But that will move the chains.
Nodak Mutual Insurance replay goes to Anderson, but look at where number 30 is in your screen. He's the guy we talked about in the first half, Dexter, who was always around the football. The Bison had 2 guys on him. They were making sure that they took Deshaun Dexter out of that play, and that allowed the first down.
And the chain crew a little slow moving. We'll have to reset the play clock here as it's now down to 9.
It'll be reset to 25.
Morlock gets the carry, trying to work around the block, but again, Northern Iowa's been all over that play today. DeAndre Hall in there, along with McMakin, and they make the stop for a loss of 2. People forget, LT, Northern Iowa 5th in the country in tackles for loss. They can blow things up.
Well, those defensive backs come with so much speed. There you see Hall, but also Felpouch, who came off. He was kind of holding his shoulder. He was in on that tackle a little bit. So the free safety's out. UNI has a new free safety back in that position. And it's Damon Hendricks, number 22.
Dumps it off, caught by Morlock. Gain of about 4 yards. Will set up a 3rd and 7.
Another really good, solid open field tackle. Dorleant making that tackle on Morlock. 3rd and long. 3rd down will define you in a particular game. 3rd down has been outstanding this year for NDSU. So far in this game, not so much.
This game brought to you in high definition by Parents Lead. Have conversations with your children that matter. Log on to parentslead.org for more information. Big 3rd down coming up for North Dakota State. Just 1 of 7 in the first half. Wentz to throw, has time. Now fires, and this one is caught up at the 45-yard line, and I think Zach Froz got enough for a first down.
But when you go triple bunch to the wide side of the field, you know you're getting man coverage on the short side, on the boundary side. Here's an isolation on Vraw. He'll work his way into a short little zone. There his quarterback is sliding. He'll slide with him. Wentz hits him on the move with a nice pass, and he gets about a half a yard more than what he needed.
So NDSU moves the chains, keeps the drive alive here. Wentz to throw, dumps it off to Bruce Anderson. He cannot get away
McMakin is right
From
there.
McMakin, who's really had a big game today, LT.
Well, yeah, we talked about he had the huge game in tackle-wise against Cal Poly with 15 tackles in that game. Comes in second to Farley in terms of total tackles. And he's a hard guy to block. He's 6'4", he's 230, 235 pounds. He's got long arms. He can kind of keep you off the legs, off your body. So he's a tough guy to really try to get all the way into as an offensive man trying to make a block.
Just a junior from Overland Park, Kansas. Bison will go to the air again. Wentz fires on the out. Wide open receiver on the sideline. Just caught R.J. Urzendowski. Here's first catch of the day inside UNI territory down to the 40-yard line.
Most of Urzendowski's work so far today has been inside. He's been in the slot receiver. This time, he was the wide guy to the wide side of the field, and he made a really gorgeous move about 15 yards deep into this pattern that made the cornerback spin a 360, and that was Hall who he made spin a 360. He got Hall's hips, changed, moved up the field, and then broke it off to the wide side. Nice pattern.
Inside handoff again. And Darius Anderson, first carry of the day for Darius Anderson, the senior transfer from Valley City State University, has another Bison first down up to the 29.
And here's the look we thought we would get a lot of today, this triple back look, plus with Wentz as a running back. So really you have 4 running options, and you can put some pressure on the defense.
Nice tackle on the play there by Damon Hendricks, backup linebacker.
I mean, Anderson kept working his way upfield, but about midway through that run, he made one little move, a patient move, to allow a block to happen so he could get the extra 5 yards.
Wentz is going to keep it this time and follow his blockers, lower that shoulder, and dive ahead for a gain of 6 up to the 23.
Well, this is what didn't happen much in the first half at all. The interior part of the NDSU offensive line establishing a little bit of physical play. On this particular drive, we talked about what do the Bison want to do or emphasize in the second half. We're seeing it on this drive. Be physical.
And more of that 3-back look you were talking about, LT. We've seen a lot more of that here.
Here it is again. A little different because Wentz is under center. Well, he was able to reestablish himself.
Wentz fires to a wide open receiver again. Vra caught the corner cheating. And Vra's got a first down inside the 15 down to the 14.
You may have saw Frazier kind of make that half a step, a move up, but the play count wasn't snapped early enough, so he was able to reestablish his position before the snap.
And the Bison once again in the Superior Inc. red zone. 1 of 1 today with a touchdown.
NDSU has been fantastic this year when they've been in the red zone. What'd you say, 1 of 1 today, so that's 11 touchdowns out of 13 or 15 attempts in the red zone. That's outstanding.
Wentz going to keep it again. Tackle this time by McMakin after a gain of close to 3.
I mean, there are teams around the country that have a high percentage of red zone scores, but to get as many touchdowns as NDSU has had once it has gotten inside the 20, I think is an impressive mark.
So this drive started back at the 24-yard line. And North Dakota State has moved it down almost 65 yards already, and it's taken them 6 minutes off the clock.
Have a few passes to the outside off a, Urzendowski catch. Rod had it a couple times, but mostly runs, solid runs right up the middle.
Wentz to throw behind the receiver in the air, and it is intercepted by McMakin at the 6-yard line in a big red zone turnover for North Dakota State.
Carson Wentz getting up very slow and hanging his right arm a little bit. He was blasted on the play. The pass was behind the intended receiver. Vra tried to make a play. It gets popped up, and then it's anybody's ball. And the Panthers won the race to that football.
Another big turnover for Northern Iowa. They've had a couple of them today.
Wentz did look like he was hurting. And here, interesting twist.
And as well as we thought Sawyer Colmorgan played in the first half, here comes Aaron Bailey for a change of pace for Northern Iowa. They've been doing this all season. Bailey more of a runner and certainly a threat. Bailey will run here. finds some room out to the 10-yard line, gain of 4.
Bailey is so quick that when he has the football, your run fits, meaning staying in your pursuit lanes, must be solid. If they're not, he will pop it and pop it big. Nodak Mutual Insurance replay. See the flow? The Bison had a real good flow there. And that particular play, it was Schatz that got in on it. But if he's a half a step slow, that's a first down.
Bailey will keep again, gets away from 2 defenders, and Bailey off to the races. First down, still on his feet. Out of bounds at the 35-yard lines. At the 35-yard line, pushed out of bounds by Trey Dempsey, but another big play in the running game for Northern Iowa.
Well, here's exactly what I'm talking about. Watch 49. That's Nick DeLuca. He makes a ton of tackles. He is about a half a step too slow to the place he needed to be, and Bailey beat him. There's the first.
Inside handoff to Miller. He dives ahead for 3 yards, and Northern Iowa, despite some of the issues on offense this year, has been moving it pretty well today against a defense that has come in playing very well.
Well, at least I know why Coach Farley didn't have much to say about Cole Morgan coming out here in the second half when he talked to Beth, because he knew he's switching quarterbacks, give the Bison a different look, because so many of those adjustments were made with Cole Morgan at quarterback.
Bailey going to keep it flushed out this time, nowhere to go. And he is dropped on the play by Nate Tangway, or excuse me, Brad Ambrosius, for a loss of 2.
So many times in football you think the blitz is only used to try to get to the quarterback in a passing situation. No, the Bison blitzed to a run that time. As you saw, Stump was one of the guys that got in there real deep and real fast. So NDSU was trying to put pressure on the running game at the line of scrimmage or a little bit behind it if you could make it and get it there.
Big third down conversion here for Northern Iowa. Bailey under duress. He's wrapped up and taken down by a host of Bison back at the 32-yard line. I think Robbie Grimsley might have been the first one there.
I think he was the second one there, actually, Brian, because Grimsley was able to wrap him up. Bailey made a little bit of a move because there was initial pressure from someone. I did not pick up the number, but here NDSU was blitzing to try to get to the passer. Nodak Mutual Insurance replay. Let's see who comes from the top. Jones, that was Stanley Jones, I think, was first one there, and then Grimsley was right behind him.
The Bison defense holds up. Northern Iowa able to move it out a little bit. Punt return taken at the 30-yard line, and again, Perkins trying to make a play, dodge out a couple of tackles, and we do have an injury down on the field. Someone a little bit slow getting up, and is that Feldspaw again?
Yeah, Feldspaw, who went out earlier.
14-10. Northern Iowa still leads it. Feldspaw on the turf on the Egg Country Farm Credit Services scoreboard.
NFL Insiders and Sunday.
Bison with the football. Our North Dakota Soybean Council trivia question. Which state plants the most soybeans in acreage? We'll have the answer coming up for you in just a little bit. Bison moved the ball down the field, but another big interception for Northern Iowa, and Carson Wentz slings it out. Urzendowski's got another catch to midfield.
Well, when Wentz came off that last time after being hit during the interception, I said his arm was kind of hanging. Well, what we think we saw along the sidelines, his arm was down because he was kind of holding something on his side, so kind of protecting his side a little bit. But obviously rolling, getting his hips around, and nice fire right on the money to Urzendowski. That's the type of throw that we've just taken for granted from Carson Wentz for the last couple of years.
Inside run game again, King Frazier, and again Northern Iowa there to stuff it up after a gain of 2. DeAndre Hall in there. McMakin another stop.
They whistled the play. Oh, I'm not sure why.
Now we heard a lot of whistles come in, but
well, McMakin's off on the sideline. Maybe he had to get. The ball needs to be spotted up to the 48, but yeah, I'm not sure why it stopped. They whistled down, stopped the play. McMakin went to the sideline.
Joe Feldspaw, the starting safety for Northern Iowa, has been taken to the locker room, so his return certainly in question here today.
See if the Bison pick on that side.
Wentz will step up and throw in deep. Dorleant certainly made some contact with Urzendowski, but no flag.
Or should have been.
Pretty good coverage.
Urzendowski's route was taking him right near the hash marks and up the hash marks. And Wentz's pass was clearly to the right of that, so that's just two guys trying to make an adjustment to the ball in the air. I didn't see anything that I thought warranted a flag.
So third down coming up.
But you go back to the last drive for NDSU, and the important thing to remember there is the no points. I mean, Bison are in the red zone. We've talked about how they've scored so many touchdowns once they've been in the red zone. You look up, you're still trailing.
Wentz fires. This one is caught. Darius Shepard did not play in the first half. He only has about 75% range of motion because of an AC joint, but got the hands up there to make a big catch on third down.
Yeah, Coach Polasek thought if we can get a half a game out of this guy today, that's what they were hoping for. About 75%. I think you mentioned that, Brian, this range of motion in that shoulder.
Now Polasek telling us how Shepard, how competitive he is. Wanted to be out there, and he's made some big plays in the passing game the last couple of weeks. Play action. Wentz, nothing there. Dumps it off and throws it away.
Quarterback was
well, that's where
outside the
Carson's
pocket.
getting a little bit
Pass
better.
went beyond the line of scrimmage. No foul.
Coach Hedberg says we work sometimes. Sometimes it's just not there. And you have to eat it, and that's what he did. He just threw it out. He looked to the near side first, and Urzendowski was getting jammed, and he really got jammed well at the line of scrimmage. Dorleant did not allow a very good release on Vra to the short side, and then Carson started going into read mode. Nothing was open. A little bit of a roll, nothing open, throw it away.
Back to the run here. Some room this time for Bruce Anderson. But again, Northern Iowa getting in those lanes quickly. A nice tackle on the play by Damon Hendricks.
Yep, Hendricks is the guy who came in for the injury.
A look at the New Seed fan cam. It's been a long day for some of the Bison faithful at Sports Center here early this morning from 6 to 8. Not a lot to cheer about right now. The fans looking a little concerned.
Well, we knew it, so we shouldn't be surprised by it. But I think UNI's pursuit to the ball has been pretty good today.
Sure tackling, too. They have not let a lot of tackles get away.
Another third and long.
Wentz will throw again. Running out of time and taken down at the 35-yard line. It was a gain of 1, but will bring up a fourth down here for North Dakota State, and now it's decision time. And it looks like Chris Kleiman will elect to punt.
Well, they talk about coverage sacks or coverage plays. There certainly was one. Nobody open. Looking right there, I think, to Albers 88. He's double covered right in the middle of the field. Nothing open on the wide side. Wentz had plenty of time, but no one came free.
Carter Schultz made the tackle there for UNI. Making the switch from defensive tackle to defensive end this year. So Comp looks to pin UNI deep. This one takes a bounce back to about the 14-yard line, and that's where Northern Iowa will have it. When we come back, 2:31 to go. Bison still trail it by 4 at home.
NFL Insiders and Sunday.
2:31 to go here in the third quarter. Northern Iowa still leads at 14-10. North Dakota State has had the football most of this quarter, LT, but the turnover certainly swaying the momentum. The answer to our North Dakota Soybean Council trivia question: which state plants the most soybeans in acreage? Iowa was not North Dakota.
You thought it was all corn in Iowa. It is not.
The opponent is from Iowa. They got the most. Bailey. Play action, has plenty of time. He's going to lay into one, throwing downfield, and this one is intercepted. And just like that, the Bison have the football back. Trey Dempsey. That's his first interception of the season.
Well, the job of the quarterback in this position is to give your receiver a chance to be the first one to the ball. This pass is way too much inside the field.
First down, North Dakota State.
You know, Malloy, who's had that 145-yarder, you know, earlier this year, but that pass was about 5 or 6 yards away from where it needed to be. It needed to be further to the sideline and a relatively easy pick.
Yeah, it looked like Trey Dempsey was almost waiting for a punt there as that ball came down. So the Bison offense right back on the field. And Wentz is going to run with it. Carson Wentz, following a blocker, dives ahead for 6 yards up to the 48.
Farley comes up and he's in pretty decent position right at the line. Watch number 46, right there, and then he misses. You know, Farley's the guy that for you and I needs to make that tackle to make it a 2-yard gain, and Wentz gets by him, stretches it out, and now gets second in, well, where you want to be.
Inside handoff to King Frazier. Frazier powers ahead, and he's going to be close to a first down inside UNI territory. Tim Kilfoy, another stop.
During the break, Brian, you and I were talking a little bit about time of possession and how it really doesn't seem like it. The Bison have had the ball that much longer. Well, the big plays kind of negate that a little bit. You know, the interceptions or Kilfoy's long run. You know, the Bison had that real nice drive down there before the last one gets popped up in the air and picked. But, you know, it just doesn't seem like, to me anyway, that NDSU has had the ball that much longer. And we're almost at the end of the third here already.
It's been a quick quarter. Wentz in an empty set. Has time, fires across the middle. Urzendowski's all alone inside the 10. RJ taken down at the 5-yard line by DeAndre Hall.
You had a sense it was just a matter of time before Wentz was going to be able to pick on the new guy. And this is what happened. There is no safety back deep over the middle because he is wide to the far side. You don't even see him come into the play. It's Hall who comes back into the play. But the safety number 22 was Hendricks was sucked so far off to Wentz's left that was an easy pass with no help behind the linebacker.
Now under a minute to go here in the third quarter. Bison back inside the 10-yard line as NDSU's back in the Superior Inc. red zone. Wentz, quarterback run. Trying to power ahead, still on his feet, taken down at about the 3-yard line. DeAndre Hall, another tackle.
This is a drive, Brian, to me that seems like that one in the second quarter where we were sitting there going, this really kind of has to be a touchdown. I think after not getting points the last time, you're still down by 4. This is that drive that you have a sense has to be a touchdown for NDSU if they get the playoff.
Yeah, the game clock is down to 1, and I don't think Wentz is going to get it off. That will be the end of the third quarter. North Dakota State has had the ball most of the third quarter. They have a chance to go ahead from the 4-yard line, and yes, it's the fourth quarter, which means it's time to grab your 4 for 4 at PetroServe USA. Their 4 for 4 pizza special available at 24 locations throughout the region. We're back with the final 15 from Fargo after this. This game brought to you in crystal clear high definition on KBLY and the NBC North Dakota Sports Network. A beautiful day in Fargo. 81 degrees in October as you take a look at Marcus Williams, hoping his alma mater can get it done here on 2nd and goal from the 4. Handoff inside. Chase Morlock still driving to the goal line and stopped at about the 2-yard line. They'll bring up 3rd and goal.
Yeah, he got about half what he needed. He wanted the extra 2 yards, got it down to the 2. NDSU motions in to make it strong side to the near. McMakin again, one of the players in on that play.
Is this 2-down territory, LT?
I would think so. Unless there's no gain on this one, then it's a tough call. But a field goal means you're still behind.
deep. Toss it out wide open receiver, and it's caught. That's the senior Jedry Sear with his first career touchdown.
The Bison have the lead. Nodak Mutual Insurance replay. You have to respect and honor the run because the Bison are a physical type of a team. Sears is able to float out in the flat, and then Hendricks was not in position once again.
Sear, another former walk-on from right down the road in Glendon, Minnesota. As Peterson has the extra point, and North Dakota State has their first lead of the day with 14-13 left to go in the fourth quarter. Back to the Fargo Dome in a minute. The UNI defense has been on the field quite a bit here in the second half. The UNI offense just 26 yards here in the second half. And LT, you mentioned a backup linebacker in the game might have missed an assignment there.
Well, it's not really, I guess, necessarily his fault, but I'm just going back to the injury to Feldpausch because Hendricks is the guy who came in to replace him. The long pass to Urzendowski at the end of the third, that was because he was out of position. The touchdown, because he was out of position.
Another Peterson Farm Seed kickoff, bringing you a product lineup that gives you every reason to stand tall. Another touchback for Ben LeCompton. We'll take another break. You and I will have it at the 25 when we're back after this. Aaron Bailey back in at quarterback. Beth Houle on the sidelines for us has a PetroServe USA sideline report. Beth.
Hey guys, that's right. Sawyer Cole-Morgan obviously on the sideline right now. He has no pads on, no helmet with him. That's because I'm told he can't pass a concussion test that he took during the halftime here in this game. Right now they're waiting to see how he'll do in further testing, but right now I'm told he cannot pass a concussion test, and that's why he's not on the field in this game right now.
And Aaron Bailey off to the races on these first couple of runs for Northern Iowa, all the way down to the 39-yard line. Thank you for the update, Beth. And that would explain why Sawyer Cole-Morgan is not in the game and Aaron Bailey is.
This is the first time, though, that it's hurry up, it's fast. Some offensive coordinators call it NASCAR or whatever. Snap the ball quick.
Bailey to throw this time,
Got
deep across the middle, wide open receiver, down to the 10-yard line, caught by Fountain once again.
Oh, Fountain made a gorgeous move about 8 yards into that pattern against C.J. Smith. He set up Smith, got Smith to bite outside, ran a hard post into the middle, knocking on the door.
And just like that, 3 plays into it, Northern Iowa all the way back in the Superior Inc. red zone at the 9-yard line. Handoff this time.
Tangway just
swallowed
ate
up
him up.
by, Darian Miller got the carry there. And G. Tucker also in on the tackle.
Read option, the handoff. You see Tangway and G. Tucker. Yeah, Tangway just beat his man in that A gap. Got both hips deep past the center early.
Second and goal. Inside run, touchdown, Darian Miller, and Northern Iowa answers back in a hurry.
Wow, the Panthers did not allow the Bison to enjoy a lead for very long.
For about a minute.
Nodak Mutual Insurance replay, same type of a look. This is the give. He doesn't get touched with a full head of steam until, what, the 2 or 3 yard line? That's an easy touchdown.
So Schmadeke will come in to add the extra point. And he's able to do it. Northern Iowa, just like that, goes right down the field in just 5 plays to take a 21-17 lead on North Dakota State. Back in a moment.
NFL insiders and
a look at your Bobcat game recap. 5 plays, 75 yards in just a minute 37. And of course, the huge run there by Aaron Bailey set that up. And Northern Iowa did not let the NDSU defense breathe. They went quick on that drive, LT.
First touchdown of the year for Miller as well to put UNI back in front.
Bruce Anderson at the 4. Anderson finds a seam. Anderson tried to get outside, still able to get ahead to the 31-yard line. Well, 26-yard line.
We saw a glimpse right there in that return on why NDSU loves the potential of this kid. Anderson's with the quick feet, made a couple of really nice moves, one right at the 15, and it's not that he made the move, but it's how fast you get up to speed after making the move that impresses you the most about that run.
So we'll see how the NDSU offense responds here. They were just on the field a minute 37 ago. That's how long the scoring drive was for Northern Iowa.
Offside, kicking team number 27. North Dakota State has elected to take the 5-yard penalty and add it to the end of the run. First down.
So NDSU will start at the 31 instead of the 26.
But you go back to Coach Farley, and I guess, you know, we were wondering about his decision to go with Bailey, and we know now why he had to do that. But Cole Morgan got that one hit. Remember that, where he got up on his haunches, got up a little slow, went back into the game, continued the first half. But I have to think that's when it happened.
Take that shot from Tangway at the end of the first half, but I don't know if that was it. Might have been a combination of things. Run inside, King Frazier. Finally some room to run, picks up close to 4, up to the 35.
Well, Frazier cut it to his right, ran into a little bit of a tackler right there in Dexter, but it appeared like if he'd have cut left, there might have been a little bit more coming back toward the camera.
Down towards 12 minutes to go here in the football game.
Really, second down has kind of been the down that NDSU has been unproductive in. From start to finish today, wouldn't you say?
I would have to say. Wentz to throw. Caught. Jeff Ilias, his second catch of the day. To the 39, will bring up 32. Dexter makes another tackle.
Yeah, his first catch was the go-ahead touchdown. Talk about kids who come into the program and Coach Kramer gets a hold of them. If you'd have looked at Ilias when he first got here, the way he is built and his body now, he looks like a tight end now.
He's put on a lot of weight. He was right around 200 pounds when he got here, now up around 220. Big third down for NDSU. Wentz will throw, and it is caught. Mr. Reliable makes another catch. Number 88, Luke Albers.
Well, 5 wide receiver set, empty, meaning no help in the backfield for Wentz. Rushing 3, max protect, and he's able to slide it right in there between the 2 linebackers. So Farley was on the coverage. He needed to move off to his left. He couldn't do it. Albers was there, first down. Wentz's third, before today, his third down passing efficiency has been just tremendous this year.
Back to the ground game. Bruce Anderson, boy, he was clothesline at the 50-yard line. Not sure who got a hold of him, but somebody, well, that was 49, came flying in. Brett McMakin.
That actually was one of the better surges from the Bison offensive line today. They were moving people. I mean, Schultz was double teamed and on his way backwards, and it looked like that thing might have been able to get more than it did. But McMakin just said, "That's it, freshman, you're done."
Wentz to throw again. He'll dump it off to Anderson in space. Bruce Anderson can't quite slip away from a tackle. Able to get up to the 45, a yard short of a first down.
Well, in that last first down pass to Albers, it didn't look like Farley was moving very well in his pass defense. That time he really did. He got to the flat with full speed and was able to get a hand around that ankle to make it third down instead of what looked like a relatively easy first down. Good movement that time by Farley, the sophomore.
Inside run, King Frazier still churning the legs, still driving, has a first down to the 40. The time of possession starting to pile up in favor of North Dakota State. They've had it 33 minutes already here in the football game.
You know, the Bison have been grinding, and Farley's getting up a little bit slow here. But I get the sense anyway, Brian, that one of these plays that have been going for the 4 yards or the 3 yards, it just seems like one of them is going to pop sometime. You know, the Bison have been known to do that over the years, especially in the fourth quarter of games, but it certainly seems like you get a feel like something that looks like 4 is going to go for 44.
Farley favoring an ankle there. Trainers are out taking a look at him. This game brought to you in high definition by Parents Lead. Have conversations with children that matter. Log on to parentslead.org. Mark Farley hoping his team can hang on here. They lead at 21-17, and we'll take a timeout and be back after this. First and 10 at the UNI 40-yard line. Farley did come off under his own power. Back to the run game. This thing opens up for Bruce Anderson. Running to the short side of the field, has 10 yards up to the 30.
Well, you want to set the edge, whether you're the offense or the defense. In this case, watch the lead guy, Bonnet. There's the edge. The feet go out from Hall with a little bit of help. That double team, again, to the short side of the field where the Bison thought they would be able to run so far today. Another first down.
Backs in the backfield once again, 2 receivers. Wentz will pull it out, running out of time across the middle. Just waiting for something to develop.
But Vra and Urzendowski are running a deep crossing pattern, a deep X. Urzendowski's going toward the post. Vra's coming toward the flag. Wentz tried to hit 82, but couldn't get it there.
Again, pressure put on by Carter Schultz, so Wentz not able to really get into that throw.
I mean, you could tell, as soon as his arm's going forward, that body's starting to go down, so they were on him. Didn't allow, it was a long developing pass pattern, and Wentz just ran out of time.
Oof, how about Ronell McNeil making the stop on King Frazier after a loss of 3.
I would say you had the right blitz call, huh? Wide open, plays going to the right, so you're not looking for the blitz on the backside, or not really a blitz. I guess McNeil is kind of the defensive end. He just wasn't touched. He blew right past everyone, and Frazier didn't have a chance.
Ronell McNeil, senior from St. Louis. 3rd and long here for the Bison. 3rd and 13. Wentz, time, will go to the air, looking deep. He has a receiver. It is caught. Touchdown, North Dakota State. Darius Shepard comes through in the clutch, and the Bison have the lead back.
Playing with an injury. Made the nice catch, said hello to the end of the field. He went into the wall pretty hard. And even if that shoulder hurts right now, it hurts with a smile because that led to 6 points. This is a gorgeous throw deep downfield. Shepard beats the 2 guys. Touchdown.
And they're going to take another look, I think, aren't they? No, they're not. Heard the official whistle there. I thought maybe they were going to take another look at the replay, but he certainly got the feet down. And what a clutch play by the redshirt freshman out of Blue Springs, Missouri, to come up with a big catch and perfectly plays football, LT, as you mentioned.
Well, we talked about Wentz not having time to step into the throw. He did that time. Got nice arch underneath it. No doubt that's a catch. And ridden into the boards, I guess, if this was a hockey game. But, boy, you can tell that shoulder's hurting. He's got an AC joint that is just barking constantly. He's able to get into the game in the second half and make an impact play.
Great Missouri Valley Conference football matchup here today. North Dakota State, Northern Iowa. Brian Shaw and Lee Timmerman with you. Beth Hool's on the sidelines. And it's everything I think we hoped it would be, LT. Both teams really trading punches here throughout the entire game.
Yeah, coming in, you always want to really see a good game. And to be honest with you, I thought NDSU was going to be able to have a physical advantage today and maybe establish that early in the game. That didn't happen. The reason it didn't happen is because UNI had played so well in that first half, and once that happened, we knew we were in for a good second half. I mean, what, 97 seconds for the last touchdown from UNI and a really nice running plays, and then NDSU has the answer right back and the three-point lead. Everything, I guess, like you said, Brian, we expect when these two teams play.
You said at the top of the show, LT, Northern Iowa was going to need 28 points to win.
To have a chance to win.
Right.
Yep.
This one drawn out. Good special teams coverage at the 16-yard line. A host of Bison in there, including Levi Jordheim, a redshirt freshman walk-on from Dickinson. Northern Iowa went right down the field at a minute 37 last time, thanks to the legs of Aaron Bailey. We'll see what UNI does here. Backed up to their own 16-yard line.
Well, from the perspective of the fans in this building, this is, I think, an important defensive possession for NDSU. But Bailey made it look oh so easy the last time on that last drive.
Lame in the motion, man. Bailey will keep it again. And Bailey's off to the races. Aaron Bailey down the sidelines. Inside the 20. He stays in bounds. And just like that, Northern Iowa answers again. 83 yards for a touchdown.
83 yards for the touchdown because of number 85. The tight end, Lehman, he threw the block that made the difference and sprung his quarterback. Nodak Mutual Insurance replay. You'll see it. There's the lead, the cut. The legs go out. You get the one bounce, the seal on the outside. And we've talked about the speed that this kid has, and he showed it off. Wow. That was an outstanding block.
It was a great block and a great run by Bailey, and well designed by and executed by Northern Iowa. Player is down on the sidelines. That may be Trey Dempsey, who came over and tried to cut down Bailey around the 15-yard line. A sophomore from Florida, Orlando area.
I think we did get confirmation that that was Dempsey.
Boy, Northern Iowa has not had the football a lot in this half, LT, but when they've had it, they have made things happen, especially here in the fourth quarter.
Well, I was listening back at Coach Farley talking about Bailey earlier this year. It was after one of the games. Actually, I think it was the second game of the year. And he said that, you know, Bailey just doesn't look like he's moving because of how smooth he is. We just saw Exhibit A. And that potential 28th point
is about to come.
Yep, that UNI. That was the mark I thought the Panthers needed to get to have a chance to win, and they're there.
Schmadeke adds the extra point, and Northern Iowa on one play, 83 yards, grabs the lead back. Let's take a look at our North Dakota Soybean Council trivia question. What famous inventor used soybeans to develop a plastic used for car frames in 1935?
Henry Ford.
About the only one we know,
pretty good
right?
guess, isn't it?
Yeah, 1935, you got to figure. So North Dakota State, the offense has been off the field for about a minute, not even.
Well, coming into this game, just to kind of give you an idea of how explosive that the Panthers have been, their biggest play from scrimmage was a 45-yard touchdown pass to Malloy. Well, the 67-yard touchdown pass from Kilmorgan was the longest play of the year, and now we just witnessed the play that broke that one as the longest play of the year.
Not that this means much, but time of possession, North Dakota State has had it for 35-18, and we still have 7:31 to go.
But it's crazy about athletics, and which makes it so much fun to watch them, is how great that the Bison felt about themselves and the fans felt about them after getting the go-ahead touchdown, and now how down you feel one play later.
Hit from Schmadeke, drops Perkins back to his own goal line, and Perkins to the 20 and taken down there. Nice open field tackle there for UNI's backup linebacker, D'Angelo Jennings. So now the Bison got to try to drive the length of the field. They have just not been able to enjoy the lead very long, LT.
No, and haven't had the joy of the long play, the big explosive play yet on the offensive side, who last drive I kept saying I think it might be coming from one of these runs that might look like 4 and go for 40 or 50, but yeah, the Bison have had to grind it. They've had to earn those points. And NDSU, remember, gave away some points with some turnovers early in this game too.
Wentz will keep it. Fires. Overshot his intended target.
Kind of a triple route. Morlock is the short one. Urzendowski the middle. Broad deep.
What famous inventor used soybeans to develop a plastic used for car frames in 1935? The answer is Henry Ford. LT, you are almost 2 for 2. We'll say 1.5 for 2.
1.5 for 2, yeah.
2nd and 10 coming up here for North Dakota State. Inside run, room to roam there as I believe that was King Frazier getting up to the 28-yard line. That will bring up 3rd and manageable here for the Bison. Lionel McNeil makes another tackle.
Yeah, the holes up the middle are certainly getting a little bit bigger. I mean, Frazier wasn't at the point of first contact till 6 or 7 yards beyond the line of scrimmage. There you see, you know, the relatively big hole, and actually Kunert was looking for someone to hit, and there was really nobody right there for him.
Anderson, the motion man. Wentz will keep it. Needed the 30, got the 31. First down, North Dakota State. And another Panther down, are slow getting up.
I thought he was going to get up, and I think that's Alice again. But boy, that just shows you how physical this game is. Alice is waving to the sidelines like, no, I'm good. And they're taking him out anyway.
No, I think he's staying in, LT, isn't
no,
he?
he just went out.
Go, okay. That's Carter Schultz going
Oh,
out.
Schultz, I'm sorry. Yep.
This ball dropped in the flat, and it is caught right in front of McKinton Dorleant to Zach Fra for a gain of 5.
But I tell you, I think Hall and Dorleant have done a pretty good job of not allowing the outside receivers to have much space, because that pass, although it was completed, there wasn't a lot of room to try to get that play in there.
Ronell McNeil is down on the turf.
You know, I don't think it's, I hope it's not anything serious, but that defense has been beat up a little bit here in the second half.
Let's take a look at the new seed fan cam. Bison faithful hoping their offense can finish this thing off. 6 minutes to go exactly in the football game. Wow, that is quite the outfit.
Is it Halloween already?
Must be getting close.
Apparently not, but.
McNeil now will get up, try to walk off the field.
He'll make it, but he's walking slow. Yeah, when Schultz went off, I actually had the wrong name with the right number, so. Oops. And he's back on too now, by the way. Carter is back in the game, 93.
North Dakota State, this will be their 70th play. Northern Iowa's run 43.
And they're leading.
And they are leading. Wentz will keep it again. More room to run for Carson. Wentz lost the football. And I think Northern Iowa's got it.
Well, there was one green jersey, one white jersey in the vicinity.
Dorleant saying we got it.
Rolling in on field as a fumble, recovered by Northern Iowa. First down.
Third turnover of the day for North Dakota State. And another lineman is down for the Bison. I think that's Austin Kunert.
It is Kunert. Wentz heading upfield, see if we can. That was 49 that ripped it. McMakin.
Yeah, and
that
I
ripped
believe
it free.
Dexter was the one that came on top of it. Deshaun Dexter, right place at right time as they attend.
And then when you're in a position like that, you're reaching out. They're looking at the elbow there, the starting center, but you're trying to go for that football, and so is everybody else. So you got massive bodies and landing on you.
Ball security has been an issue at times for North Dakota State. They have 6 fumbles lost, which is 106th in the country. Bison faithful, hoping their defense can hold on here and try to get the offense the football back. But Northern Iowa is certainly humming offensively the last couple of possessions. Boy.
You see Coach Riley going out to help, or not help, but to go look and see how his starting center is on this particular play. Certainly is a lot of people looking forward for pheasant season, so we've seen the pheasants out there and the dogs on the little Shields logos.
North Dakota State, a 25-game home winning streak in jeopardy here with 5.5 to go.
Well, and remember the team that ended the long 33-game winning streak, which happened last year in the Unidome. Well, obviously not a good sign that it's taken Austin this long just to sit up, so they're really worried about what appeared to be his elbow.
And the Bison have a redshirt freshman Christian triplet that is backing up Kunert at center. Now, if they'll makeshift things around, we'll have to see, but at least he is up on his feet and walking off under his own power. But again, that arm doesn't look to be in too good a shape.
Yeah, Austin had not played the center position until spring football. So he made the transition into that spot, such an important spot on the offensive side. But now it's the Bison defense's turn to try to find an answer for Bailey.
The first couple of possessions of the second half, you and I really didn't move the football all that well. But boy, the last couple, they have found something in the quarterback run game. We'll see if North Dakota State can adjust. Darian Miller keeps that time, got maybe a yard up to the 45.
Well, it wasn't the most clean handoff in the world. Bailey was hanging in there as long as possible, trying to make his read as long as possible, and finally I think Miller just maybe made the decision for him. I'm going to take it and see what I can get. Here's what I'm talking about. See, the read, then Miller just kind of yanks it out of there.
Run again for Bailey. This time swallowed up after a gain of 5. Will bring up 3rd and 5.
Well, I think it's real important for Grimsley on that play to make sure that Bailey doesn't take it outside and bounce this thing. He turned it back in.
The runner was down by contact. 3rd down.
They wondered if how and when the ball came out. Yeah, he's down.
He's down.
Yeah, Menard says, hey, look at me, I have the ball, but he was down.
Big 3rd down here for Northern Iowa. Just 2 of 8 today.
Of course, when you have the lead, you dictate the tempo. Remember that you and I went real fast, and that was successful. Now the play clock's all the way down to 5.
They get the snap off.
Timeout.
And timeout by Northern Iowa at the last second.
Prior to the snap, timeout Northern Iowa. That's their first charge timeout of the half. It'll be a 30-second charge timeout.
Down to almost 4 minutes left in the game here. As Northern Iowa, if they can pick up a 3rd down here, can chew up a couple more minutes.
Well, yeah, the Bison want to turn this back over to the offense, no doubt about it, but it'll take a third down stop to do it.
Taking a look at the Bobcats game recap. UNI 8.9 yards per play, and of course a lot of those have just been the long runs. And of course the long pass and play to Fountain as well.
UNI up to 254 yards rushing. Both teams at 387 total. But that ground total, especially here in the second half, has been huge for the Panthers.
Pre-snap shift, Bailey will run it. Quarterback draw, and he's got a first down up to the 34. Spread them out, run the quarterback draw, and it works to perfection there for UNI.
There was a real nice double team block right there. You see 70-72 making the double team block. That was the one that allowed the first down to happen. Nodak Mutual Insurance replay. You see Schatz has, you know, close to 600 pounds of people pushing him around. Couldn't hold his spot. Bailey got the first.
3:30 left to go. Handoff this time goes to Darian Miller, and Miller is free. Down to the 21-yard line. Another UNI first down.
The Bison blitzing on the runs to those gaps. Well, when you do that, you obviously leave yourself a little bit exposed on the second level. And here Miller's been able to get through that and make that second level. G. Tucker slows him down a little bit, but not before. UNI picks up another first down, and that clock just keeps on ticking away.
Now down to almost 3 minutes. Miller has gotten a majority of the work here for UNI in the second half at running back. Bailey will keep it again. This time, not much. DeLuca with the tackle after a gain of 2.
Coach Kleiman with the timeout. And you want first guy to slow him down, second guy to try to get the ball out. First guy,
Timeout,
DeLuca.
North Dakota State.
And he's trying to
That's
get
their
the ball
first
out.
timeout of the half. Will the game clock operator please reset the game clock to 2 minutes, 44 seconds, please. 2:44.
Bison defense have to make their stand now, LT.
Thank you.
Oh, no question about it. Every play is another half minute if it's if it's a play that doesn't result in points or something like that. Obviously, that's not what NDSU wants at this stage of the game.
Got to give credit to UNI. Every time NDSU took the lead, they came right back with a big play.
Fast.
Quickly.
Yep.
Bailey will keep it again. Still on his feet now, taken down on the backside by Greg Menard after a loss of 2, and third down coming up. Chris Kleiman will take another timeout.
North Dakota State. That's their second charge timeout of the half. It'll be a 30-second charge timeout.
So now if you're North Dakota State, or even probably more importantly for UNI, what do you run here on 3rd and 9?
Well, I wouldn't pass it. I don't think I would pass it. But Schatz was the first guy there, and he got the help on that particular tackle. But you'd mentioned the field goal kickers inside of 40 has been pretty solid this year too.
Has been good. And from here, we're looking at about a 37-yarder if they don't move the football at all here on this third down.
Well, I think if you're UNI, I say you got to run it and force Coach Kleiman to either use his last timeout or wait another half a minute until you kick it if NDSU holds.
UNI spreading things out again. Handoff this time nowhere as it goes to Miller. And the Bison will use their last timeout with 2:34 to go, and Mark Farley will likely bring on Schmadeke here to try to add to the lead and make it a 7-point lead.
That's our third and final charge timeout of the half. It'll be a 30-second charge timeout.
Well, you always like to have that one timeout for your offense to use, but the run play kind of dictates Coach Farley's decision to run that ball, dictates Coach Kleiman's decision to have to stop the clock.
So Carson Wentz will have some time here when the offense gets the football back, assuming that Northern Iowa kicks the field goal.
Well, and then according to the way Kunert looked, assuming a new center.
Certainly changed the dynamics, no question. So this will be a 38-yard attempt for Schmadeke. Local kid from Cedar Falls. Snap down, hold, Schmadeke missed, wide left. And North Dakota State still breathing. Down 4 with 2:30 to go.
Obviously, the Bison need a touchdown anyway, no matter what happens there. But now the 6 points puts you ahead.
Schmadeke pretty reliable. See Ron L. McNeil, the defensive end, saying, "We got this for you." Great football game. Two very strong programs historically. A lot of tradition. And it all comes down to this. As the crowd quiets down.
Both corners back off, pre-snap.
Wentz to throw. Pressure comes, now fires. Incomplete, looking for Vra, who had beaten the linebacker, but just not quite enough on that throw from Carson Wentz.
Yeah, Vra ran a deep drag. He was the guy down here by the 20 on the near side, ran the long pattern. He was the last option on that play. Hall checks him off to the linebackers because he stayed so shallow. He didn't run with him, didn't want to give up his deep third. The pass just not where it needed to be. 5 receiver set.
Pressure coming on Wentz again. Downfield, open receiver at the sideline is caught. Nice job by Wentz keeping his eyes downfield, and he finds Urzendowski for a first down.
Flag.
But a flag comes in, and this might be against North Dakota State, so hold everything.
Well, this was a 5-on-4 situation. Just 4 down linemen, no blitzers. And there's a big jersey tug right there in the middle. This is coming back.
Oh, big call. North Dakota State now will be 2nd and 20.
I didn't see the number who had it, but I saw a fistful of jersey there.
Offense number 54. 10 yards from the previous spot. Still 2nd down.
Jeremy Kelly, the senior.
All the way back to the 10.
Things getting tough for the Bison. Obviously 4-down territory at this point. There is a sling on Austin Kuhner's arm. No shoulder pads. He is obviously done for today. Wentz to throw again. Fires downfield, wide open receiver, but he could not find R.J. Urzendowski. 3rd and 20 coming up.
Wentz tried to step into that throw and really get it out there quickly, and it sailed just a little bit. Actually, I think Zemer's in at center right now.
Zemer did start a couple of games earlier this season.
Rushing 4 again.
Wentz, strong throw. Urzendowski makes the catch at the 23-yard line. Will bring up a manageable 4th and 7, but the clock is running now under 2 minutes.
Need to get across the 31.
This is the football game for NDSU. Wentz fires. Fra on the sideline. Makes the catch at the 36, enough for a first down, and gets out of bounds to stop the clock. Hall on the coverage.
Hall was playing soft coverage, not wanting to get beat deep. There was a good 7-8 yard cushion. Vrod just kind of hanging out on the sideline and just waiting and wishing that football will get to him. It finally did. He got the 1 foot in, and the Bison continue the drive.
And they were going to look at this, only because he kind of juggled the football
Rolling on the field,
a
the previous
little
play
bit.
was a completed catch. That play is under further review.
We'll take a look.
You only need 1 foot, and I thought he had it.
And I think he had it initially, LT. I just thought maybe he juggled the ball a little bit.
But this is why replay exists, is to make sure that in a critical part of the game, the call is correct.
Here we'll see.
Catch, foot, control,
yep, he's definitely
first down.
Yep.
Now that'll be confirmed.
Or did it bobble at all here, LT?
I didn't think so. With those 2 gloves, he had both mitts on it. I sure thought he controlled it
and again,
through the end of the play.
And it was called a catch on the field, so it'd have to be, again, very obvious. It was close.
The one thing this does, though, is this: it gives the Bison almost a free timeout.
Right.
They've got time now to talk things over. The Bison are going to have close to 2 minutes to kind of figure things out. They don't have any timeouts left. The play, as we think, will stand. And now Wentz and crew can survey, talk it over. That's a little bit of a bonus for them.
Still a long way to go, just at the 37-yard line.
And 94 seconds left.
Well, that was a long throw by Wentz across the field.
After further review, the ruling on the field is confirmed. First down, North Dakota State. Game clock will start on a snap.
So NDSU a fresh set of downs after having a 3rd and 20 back at their own 10-yard line.
But Dorleant and Hall have not given the wide guys, again, a lot of room early in this game. This is a point of the field now where they're really playing soft corners, and that's where Wentz has gone with a couple of these passes.
Pressure again from UNI, and Wentz
goes down. Incomplete.
Hit at right as he threw it.
Alice, I think 90, was that? Nope, that was Schultz again. 93.
Quarterback was hit from behind. Momentum went forward with releasing the ball. Incomplete pass.
Those front 4 have been getting pretty good pressure.
They really have. Wentz has time, drops it off. Clock continuing to run as Morlock picks up 7 yards to the 44.
That's the thing. The tackle was made. Morlock went down. You know he wanted to try to get to the out of bounds to stop the clock. He couldn't get close to it.
Across the middle, open receiver is caught and dropped. Andrew Bonnet had it and then lost it at the 27-yard line. And that'll bring up 4th and 3.
I think it was Kilfoy that came in to make the hit to take the ball away. Kilfoy, the guy who had the interception, the big interception earlier in this game, playing the deep safety position. Check out 24. Ball is out of there.
Big 4th down once again for North Dakota State. They just converted one a moment ago. Wide open receiver. Urzendowski inside the 35 down to the 34-yard line. Well designed and executed by North Dakota State.
Shepard ran it like an in, almost looked like a drag. That took Dorleant, sucked him up. Remember I was saying that they were playing soft on the corner? Well, this time he bit on the shallow route that allows Urzendowski to get outside. Kilfoy can't get there from his safety position early enough. huge fourth down throw.
And it stops the clock out of bounds with 59 seconds left. Wentz, time, fires across the middle, caught inside the 20, down to the 17. Zach Braun makes the catch. Clock stops temporarily with the first down, chains resetting. Bison quickly getting ready to snap it.
Same situation. Dorleant doesn't want to give up the outside. Bra runs a little bit of a skinny post, wide open. Picking on the safety on that play.
Wentz, as Northern Iowa brings pressure, fade pattern again for Shepard. Got it! He got it! Touchdown, Bison! Wow!
Boy, he made a beautiful adjustment to the ball in the air. Again, this is a kid that's playing on a shoulder that's barely 75%. Watch him spin, get both shoulders squared to the ball, gave himself the ultimate chance to make a play on it, and he did. At almost the peak when it was coming down. He beat the defenders to the ball. Awesome catch.
Boy, I tell you what, Darius Shepard, for a redshirt freshman, has shown some big-time guts today. And a perfectly placed ball by Wentz. Extra point is good. Again by Peterson, and North Dakota State leads it 31-28, but there is still 35 seconds left to go.
And 2 timeouts. So there will be some plays, but yeah, Wentz throws it up here. Nodak Mutual Insurance replay. I love the adjustment to the ball, and he just fights him, outfights him for it.
Pretty good coverage by UNI on that play too, LT.
Yeah, Dexter was there from the inside, Hall's there from the outside. Quarterback put it where the receiver had a chance, and Shepard with another big grab.
Reminds you a little bit of 2 years ago. Similar situation. That time it was Brock Jensen leading the team down the field, and Sam Ojuri scoring a touchdown late to win it.
How many kickoff returns has UNI had today? I don't think they've had, or they had just the one.
They've had the one up to the 14.
Because LeCompte has done a real good job of keeping this thing deep.
But again, we've seen the explosiveness of Northern Iowa today. Big chunks of yardage, so don't count them out just yet. Another Peterson Farm seat kickoff, giving you a product lineup that gives you every reason to stand tall. This one will not be returned. Northern Iowa will take over at the 25 with 35 seconds to go.
Well, the last field goal that was missed was from 38, so 40 is about the range for the UNI kicker.
Let's take a look at our Bobcats game recap. 10 plays, 79 yards in just 1:55, and that includes 2 fourth down conversions, including a 4th and 8. Levi Jordheim, the redshirt freshman from Dickinson, also in, as the Bison almost look like they're playing a dime package here.
Russian 3, flag. The flag came right away.
And I think it's offsides on NDSU. Menard maybe jumped just a half second early. And that was important to stop the clock.
Gives your offense plenty of time here to get the play in, get the play call, get what you want without having to use one of those 2 remaining timeouts.
Offside. Defense number 94. That penalty is declined. 2nd down.
Excuse me, that was Stanley Jones that was called for the offsides, not Greg Menard. Bailey. It looked like this one bounced, but no, he caught it. Brown made the catch. at the 40-yard line.
Brown's the track kid, known for his speed, but there he went down and kept that ball off the turf.
Nice catch by Charles Brown, first catch of the day. 15 seconds left. Bailey under pressure. Down he goes, back at the 35-yard line. And now Northern Iowa's going to have to call a timeout with 12 seconds to go.
Boy, that's a big play with a three-man rush. Max coverage. The Bison able to collapse it down on Bailey. Bailey not wanting to run, wanting to hang in there and try to get the throw off, and he couldn't do it.
30-second charge timeout.
Last timeout now for UNI after this. Their second that they called. Tangway got push, but it was Greg Menard that made the sack.
The middle one is the important one, though. Tangway closes up the middle. Another thing that the defense that the Bison have in right now, as you mentioned, rushing three. You have Jordan in there, kind of a dime situation, is you always have safety help over Fountain now. He's their #1 receiver, so there's always a deep safety behind him to help out Smith, who's been on him trying to jam him as well. I think that's an important thing to point out for that Bison defense.
And again, just 12 seconds, so Northern Iowa's got to get down the field in a hurry into field goal range to try to tie this thing up. Official talking to the linesman.
Are they making sure the spot's correct? It's the down marker on the far side has a third down. Yeah, it's second down.
It is second down. Second and 15.
That was the question. The down marker was wrong. It is second down.
The Fargo Dome crowd has come to life. Bison bringing pressure. This one is caught. And a lateral on a little hook and ladder as Brown is taken out of bounds with 4 seconds left. So now Northern Iowa, their only option, unless you can get to the 35 in 3 seconds, is to throw a Hail Mary. Tough decision here as Fountain made the initial catch.
Well, NDSU already with 3 players deep. 4 seconds in the 35, that's not going to do it. You're going to try to go for it, and there's no reason to keep this last time out in your pocket. Talk it over.
So last time out for Northern Iowa. So Chris Kleiman trying to talk to his guy, saying, fellas, we got to guard that goal line.
Rolling on the field. There's a backward pass. Caught by the offensive team. That second receiver went out of bounds at the 47-yard line. First down. The clock will start on the snap.
Bison have a bunch of guys back, 5 DBs. Robbie Grimsley's all the way back at the 7-yard line. And they will line them up.
Yeah, Dempsey's about that far too. Both corners are about 45 yards deep as well. The whole middle of the field is UNI's if they want it.
Bison try to bring pressure. Fountain sets up. He has time. Deep to the end zone. Bent away. North Dakota State has snuck away with their 26th straight home victory.
What a fun game with the wild twists and turns that happened, especially in the second half. Both teams scoring quickly. Bison taking the lead.
And how about the gutsy performance by Darius Shepard? Only played a handful of snaps and made 2 huge touchdown catches. The last one to clinch the game for NDSU.
Game is over.
Boy, now the Bison have played 2 of the most difficult opponents to open the conference, and both wins. put themselves setting in the best possible position, obviously, with those 2 wins, but over SDSU and now UNI.
And Chris Kleiman beats his alma mater here at the Fargo Dome in a classic. Beth Houle still waiting to catch word with Coach Kleiman, who's shaking hands with some of the UNI staff. Obviously a huge win. Chris now coming over to tech to Beth Houle. And she has head coach Chris Kleiman.
Guys. Hey guys, I've got Coach Kleiman here. Coach, how about that win?
That might have been the best college football game I've been a part of. And we didn't play a flawless game, but our kids gave unbelievable effort. Hats off to both teams, those 2 dynamite football teams. The Fargo Dome won us this game.
Your guys stuck with it all the way to the end. Defense with that stop at the very end. Carson Wentz leading that charge. How about him?
Not only Carson Wentz, but Darius Shepard. Got a bum shoulder, made 2 unbelievable catches. He's a trooper.
Thanks, Coach.
Chris Kleiman is pumped, as are his entire staff and team. 31-28 the final from the Fargo Dome. We'll be back to wrap things up with our No Deck Mutual Insurance Player of the Game after this. Stay with us. And got it done. So American Family Insurance, Ken Kraft Agency, hit of the game.
Well, he certainly got some help from Tangway up the middle, and then Menard comes in, slicing off to your left right there. Here's a better look at it. Tangway with the pressure up the middle. Menard gets there, and it forces the desperation at the game at the end of the last play of the game. So certainly that hit helped set up the Bison to win the game.
Excellent football games. We take a look now at our final stats, and these stats brought to you by the North Dakota Certified Seed Producers. And when you look at them, the time of possession, I think, will stand out to me. Only North Dakota State had the ball so long, but the big-time plays for UNI kept them in the football game, and 277 rushing yards for Northern Iowa today.
Yeah, huge. And the Bison really, you got to remember, they controlled the third quarter. 150 yards of offense in the third quarter for NDSU, and then the offensive explosion happened. So yeah, those last stats and that time of possession, we kind of saw it starting to wear on the defense and some of those players for the Panthers getting up a little bit slow and going off the field. But yeah, when you win that time of possession, you often win the game. This time, the Bison had a big time of possession and a very, very close win.
Well, they do win it. That's the bottom line. 476 in the total yard department for NDSU, 435 for Northern Iowa. LT and I will be back to wrap things up with our No Deck Mutual Insurance Player of the Game after this. Stay with us. (31-28) your final on the Ag Country Farm Credit Services scoreboard, and our No Deck Mutual Insurance Player of the Game goes to Darius Shepard. Playing hurt, nowhere near 100%. Came up with 2 huge fourth quarter catches for touchdown, LT.
And the second one is obviously the play of the game too as well. He gets squared around, makes the touchdown grab. Shepard with 3 catches in the game. Brian, you mentioned those 2 touchdowns. That one was the game winner. That was awesome catch over one of the best cornerbacks that NDSU is going to face, with also some linebacker help. Wentz puts it in a position for Shepard to make the catch, but I like the fact he gets squared around and he owned that ball. He wanted it and he got it.
Take a look at the upcoming schedule for North Dakota State. We'll be right back here next Saturday as South Dakota comes to town. The Yotes still looking for their first conference win. And that's one of these games that Joe Glenn hoping that his team can make a statement next week, but it's going to be tough after what just happened here today.
I don't think it'll be quite this exciting. If it is, everyone is in for a treat.
Parting thoughts, LT, after a game like this. We don't get to see them very often, but they're sure a lot of fun.
No, and one of the things, too, is we kind of compound on the fact that something we already know, and that is you don't want to give Carson Wentz too much time. The Panthers scored. They scored quickly. They got the lead. They missed the field goal. Wentz, with no timeouts, made a couple of fourth down plays, got his team in a position to win, and then won it with that pass and Shepard's catch. So, yeah, Carson Wentz proves once again that he's the man.
He's the man. He gets it done today. 4 touchdown passes for Carson Wentz, flat out getting it done. And North Dakota State stays undefeated in conference play at 2-0 in the Valley, 4-1 overall. Thank you so much for joining us on this telecast of Bison football here on NBC North Dakota Sports and on KBLY. It's been a lot of fun. For Lee Timmerman, Beth Houle, our entire NBC North Dakota sports crew, I'm Brian Shawn saying so long from the Fargo Dome. 31-28 is your final today.